Far from Dämmerung, far from the dread fortress, in a realm wreathed in cold light, perpetual twilight basks this entire realm. We see a castle, and stretching far below it, expanding ever outward until it meets an expanse of raw earth. A castle town, a city, lights flickering across dozens of domiciles, businesses, an entire thriving landscape. Inside, we see a man wrapped in a slate blue tunic. He's staring out of the window at this city, staring at the twilight sky, staring at a shadowed sun. He looks through the window, seemingly through the stars themselves, and he says, "Did you know, at one point in the Void's storied history, the man known as the Shadow King was broken, murdered, and the incredible power he contained within him, unparalleled at the time, mind you, manipulating the raw stuff of Lux itself was no easy task, was trapped within a box. A box. The power to shape reality and the Void itself was used for spectator sport. Now that power has been flung across this microcosmos, and I am filled with dread at the possibilities. When used recklessly, even a fragment of that power will usher disaster. I trust that you too share my concern. For such power should never have been used in such a way to begin with. Not when there is so much to be done. And I hope that in time, you'll see the truth of the matter." And we quickly leave this realm, across the cosmos, past multiple planets, past some of the void life forms that we saw previously, back to where we found our party last time, breaching through the top of a ladder stairway into the Rust Blood Alliance war camp. As you all arrive here, taken and led by Grim, a small goblin who had a squad of 5 other goblins, you all are immediately hit by light and then noise, bustling sounds of people walking by. You can see multiple groups of various denizens from the Underdark. We see drow, we see kobolds, we see other goblinoids, hobgoblins, bugbears. We even see the strange and very bizarre Kuatoa, walking fishmen, carrying various crates, wearing armor, shoveling new trenches, erecting barricades, and otherwise just doing their day-to-day. But as soon as you all appear, the record scratches, and they all begin to stare at you. Grim quickly nudges you all and says, come on, we gotta move through. And at this time, I'd like all 3 of you to make a perception check.
Great.
Perception, where's it at? Oh, what do we got now?
Natural 20.
Already have a natural 20 right off the start.
Actually, I got the max I could get, even with my +4 as well, plus D4.
Oh,
That
So 33.
That is incredible. All right.
damn.
Everybody's rolling high. I keep forgetting that y'all roll so high. So,
I got a 6.
Grimnar's chill.
I got a 6. I don't see
Well-
shit. I don't hear shit. I'm just here to have a good time.
Grimnar, you're having a great time.
I am following the will of chaos. I don't need to be present.
You're just going with the flow. These 5 little goblins have essentially said, hey, come on, big man, your look sounds good to me. But for Nehebka, so here's everything that you notice. In addition to all of these various clusters of Underdark races regarding all of you, and for lack of a better term, your very strange armor, all 3 of you, because you can all see that everybody here has a rather standard uniform. They have either a short coat, a long coat, leather boots, some form of armored pauldron. A couple of them have masks and helmets on. You can all see pikes, swords. You even see a couple of things similarly shaped to staves, except at the very end of the stave, it almost curves in like an L sort of shape, maybe closer to a J. And they have all these little, they have a little crystal tip at the end of where the normal staff would be. Same thing with the box of wands, similarly shaped in a sort of J pattern. You see all of these items, and then you overhear a couple of people saying, "Who the hell are they? I wonder what they're doing so far out here." And then you hear a couple others say, "Gonna need more than 3 to win this war." And then the thing that stands out to you the most is that you hear somebody say, "Wasn't there another knight here already?" And all of this you hear in passing as you all are being taken further through the camp. Now you're getting the smell of cooking meats. You're passing by a mess hall. You can see people eating various forms of grilled vegetables, what looks to be a giant pot of slop somewhere. The smells are, at best, nauseating. They're seemingly cooking with everything that they have here, whether it is a protein, whether it's a root. Maybe there's even cooked leather in here, who knows? But as they bring you all along, you're brought to a large bell tent made from a fine off-white material, and in front of it are 2 drow dressed in full regalia, full armor, large halberds in front of them, and Grim, our squad leader here, beckons you inside. I want to introduce you guys to the big wigs. So go on in, make yourselves comfortable.
All right, and Muffy would immediately walk in.
You'll see Nehebka just kind of absent-mindedly, not absent-mindedly, absolutely not. Just taking in stock of the area, seeing just how many people are here, what the actual force is of this resistance. Just trying to understand a little bit. Not that it's her problem right now necessarily, but still. And then obviously I was also overhearing that, but we'll step in quietly, just still keeping an eye out.
And then was there anything else that you wanted to sort of, like any other information that you were looking for about the force in particular?
You said that mostly everyone has the same uniform on. Does anyone not have the same uniform?
You would notice that when you were moving through, there were a couple of bands of people that looked like they were in a far more ornate version of these uniforms. And I think that from your time within the Dread Fortress as a knight of the Void Domain, you would understand that these are probably officers or specialists of some regard. They all generally have the same sort of base uniform, but you see a couple that have, maybe like a gold stripe on the shoulder here, or, maybe some harder armor like on the elbows and on the knees, that look like they're more fitted for like deep sort of like combat.
So they're different, they're the same like unit, like army or whatever, but different.
Yeah.
They're not different factions.
Yeah, they're not different factions. Same army. Some of them have like different markings. So
different ranks and
yeah. Mm-hmm. And you all noticed during the last episode the different banners. So you all see a couple of these individual groups that have some of like those insignias like on their coats and everything. So it's sort of like a hodgepodge of like various colors, but all with a base uniform.
Okay, and then the last question, knowing the difference between some of the officers and specialists versus kind of the common rabble, for lack of a better word, where does Grim sit in that?
Grim is very uniquely dressed here. His outfit, and something that you all notice on the entirety of Grim's squad here, is that in addition to their spiked boots, their armor seems to be more plated. It seems similar to one of the sort of more like assault-oriented soldiers that you saw. They have elbow pads, they have thicker, heavier gloves, there's metal plating on the outside of that. And you notice that Grim and his squad all have gas masks and red hats.
Okay.
Yeah, currently no other squad outside of them wears red sort of, berets.
Gotcha. All right, great.
What is this? Just looking around, and if I need to roll, that's fine. But like, can we tell like what kind of shape these forces are in?
Oh, sure.
Like, have they been in combat? Are they weary? Or do they look like they're good to go?
The overall temperament of the camp when you all arrived was fairly active. But I think in this moment, I'm going to go ahead and still play this off of the 22 and the 33, just going for like the team average here. Nobody looks necessarily like haggard, definitely tired. all of this activity there seems to be a constant train of activity here, whether it is supplies coming in or supplies going out. There's never a dull moment here. So while everybody seems rather active and engaged, there's not necessarily this air of like, hey, it's a party, we're all like on sort of like break and just hanging out, right? There is work going on here. But otherwise, the camp is in a fairly pristine condition. You know, none of the battlements look like they've been attacked or damaged. And looking around, you see that there are a bunch of other sort of like watchtowers and things. This is a rather well protected and well kept up camp that you all are in right now.
Okay, cool, great. Yeah, head inside and to these two drow.
Yeah. Cool. As you all enter the tent, the first thing that you notice is that there's a large circular table at the center of this room, and it is covered with a parchment map that covers the entirety of its surface. You all can make out little stone tokens on various points of the map, various little constructions. Some of them look somewhat shaped similarly to the titans that you all had seen during your last combat. Others look more abstracted, triangles, round ovals, a couple of squares. You see a couple that are stacked almost to imply some sort of fortification. There are multiple figures standing around this table. At the center of all of this is a tall drow woman, roughly about 6'2". She is dressed in deep black plate armor with filigree detail, intricate silver filigree running across the shoulders, running on the bam braces. You can see that her arms are folded as she's listening to all of these other people in this room effectively bicker about what they should be doing. You hear somebody say, "We should press the attack immediately." And you hear others saying, "No, we need to fortify our positions." You hear another saying, "We have to tend to all the wounded. We don't have time to send more people out." Her face is stoic, stone. As you all enter, her eyes immediately dart to all three of you, and a silence falls over the room. Grim immediately pipes up. "Hey, everybody, look at what I found out in the Blast Lands. Honored guests, please, introduce yourselves."
Okay. I am Grimnar. I'm a Void Knight of the Dread Fortress, and these are my companions. You want to introduce yourself, or should I do it? As he looks at Nehebka.
Nehebka does not speak, just watching.
This is Nehebka, not chatty today, and this is Muffy.
Hello.
You all, in addition to the drow woman, you all see that there's a mailed weregar who sort of like butts up to the front, stocky, very, very bushy-browed. His beard is in an intricate sort of spiral braid pattern, totally bald up at the top. He carries a large hammer on his back. He looks over at the drow and he says, "Can these people be trusted?" She looks at all of you and says, "You all may know me as Trisivin Banneret, War Mistress of the Drow Conclave here on Dämmerung."
What's the last name?
Banneret, B-A-E-N apostrophe R-R-E-T.
Okay.
I trust that you all can speak for yourselves in this manner. Can you all be trusted here?
I think I can.
Well, there's
This
no...
is where. Oh,
Go ahead.
I was like, this is where Nehebka would pipe up. I think her eyes clock the Durgar for a moment, looking back at the drow. "It is not about if we can be trusted. It is about what our purpose is. And we see that you have a problem that is soon becoming ours."
Ooh. Make a persuasion check.
Sure.
Could I also do an insight check on her to see if she reacts to that at all? Well done.
Let's go.
Well done.
I'll take that.
Let's go.
I am not the charismatic one.
And
sorry,
I'm sorry,
what
Muff, what was your question?
Yeah.
I was wondering if I could roll an insight to see if I see her facial expression shift or like her mouth move.
Yeah, go for it. Go ahead and give me an insight.
We can't all have it all.
Boo.
You notice that her face remains rather stoic. Her eyes are like very gently moving between the three of you, but she's done nothing to sort of betray what her thoughts are in this moment. As for you, Nehebka, with your beautiful 18, this Dwergar looks at you, and he says, "You all can call me Gund Ashbrow. I'm the chief artillerist here for the Rustblood Alliance. Your mannerisms are far too chaotic to be programmed, so I guess you're not spies. I'll buy it. For now."
Sorry, have you encountered very programmed people often?
Programmed? Well, from the looks of it, you're not made of metal, so that's a start. Though I won't lie, part of me thinks that we should maybe poke and prod and see if you've got a little metal underneath there. We don't know what the war
and sand will go down your throat and you will never be able to breathe again.
At this, you see Triss, War Mistress Triss, smirk, and Gund is taken aback. "You dare! What insolence you have here! You are newcomers here, and you're going to threaten us in this time of need?"
I do not threat. Everything I say is a promise.
Ooh, man. That's, you know what? Are you do you feel like this would be an intimidation here?
It can be. She's just speaking fact. She is not here for the who has more power, who is in command. They don't even know who these people are. They were here for a reason. This is an afterthought that's quickly becoming a main thought. She does not care for the romp and, oh my God, who are you? Type of vibe.
Gotcha. So Gund is gonna take this, and he just says to you, Nehebka, he's like, "I'll be watching you. But for now, they're fine. I hate sand anyway. Don't want to mess around with it."
Of course.
It gets everywhere.
It's everywhere. Grim steps ahead of you all and says, Guys, whoa, hey. They were neck deep in Warforged by the time we got to them. These three, they're serious business, and safe to say, I think they're on our side. I mean, you guys have no idea what they're capable of. That one right there, the one that just threatened you, total mastery over the earth. It was beautiful to see. This big fella, lightning from the sky. You know, like, how many of our own soldiers can say that they can do that? And this one who's about my height, one of the most dexterous and nimble things I've ever seen. This could be our chance, guys. We should trust them. At this, Triss says, "Fine. Tell me then, newcomers. What is your purpose here? Why are you here?"
Well, as I mentioned before, we were sent by the Dread Fortress to investigate, what did they say? Dark happenings around these parts. But it seems we have stumbled into something more sinister.
Gund pipes up and says, "Dark happenings? Dark happenings? You haven't noticed we're at war."
Yes, well, we were not informed of this, but maybe this is what we were looking for.
You mentioned that you were sent by the Dread Fortress. Are there
Yes.
Are there more of you coming?
From my understanding, one has already come, as per the whisperings of your ilk.
One has already come. I don't recall one such as dressed as you, but Now that you mention it, yes, there were 2 others that came in, bearing some sort of objective. They claimed to be here to help us, some sort of advanced scouting party. Are these compatriots of yours? They made no mention of a dread fortress.
Do we know anything about if anybody came for us?
Currently, no. To your knowledge, when Stolas tasked
yeah.
you all with this mission, he said that there were other groups going to other locations, but that you 3 would be going to Dämmerung.
Yeah.
I had Grimnar's been in the service of the Dread Fortress for like 20 years. Would the account that they're giving sound like something that would be standard practice or like standard operating procedure, or does this sound like something that's not the way things are done?
I think in this moment, you know what? Give me a history check.
Yeah, let's do it.
You've been there for.
Oh my god!
Tighter size.
Why?
I was gonna say
I have a +3.
I was gonna say because you've been in the service, roll with advantage, and then you just fired it off. But yeah, go ahead and give me another one. I'll give you advantage on this one.
Apparently, I've been doing nothing this entire
you've been not
time.
paying
I have been twiddling my thumbs for 20 years. Oh my god, not much. 12. It's not much better.
Better than 5.
So yeah, okay. So with this 12, you're not really fully familiar with like the intricate workings of the logistics of like, all right, you know, which sort of like knight commander is going to dispatch this or do this here. But generally speaking, from what you all do know of sort of like your time and training within the Dread Fortress, that normally if a squad is dispatched to a region, that's sort of their task until that squad asks for help. So it's not necessarily standard here, but it's not impossible.
As far as I know, we have. I don't know of any mission before us, but it's not impossible. We can't say anything to that effect.
I see. Well, if that is the case, then she looks at Gund. Perhaps we do need to tighten up on security around here.
What did they look like?
The 2 that came in previous, roughly a day or 2 before you both arrived, or before the 3 of you arrived, they were dressed in blues and grays. They wore chainmail. They had heavy hoods. Each carried a long sword. One of them carried a shield. They spoke of... Oh, yes.
Did there... if they were emissaries of the Dread Fortress, they would perhaps have an insignia. Was there any heraldry or symbols on their armor?
Nothing discernible. Though, from their mannerisms and from the way that they held close together, there was an air of nervousness about them. But they claimed to be here to help us. They said that they were concerned about the current situation here on the planet, as if they had had some sort of knowledge about it. And after relaying to us some rather critical information
Like what?
about... They were able to speak on the composition of the enemy's forces. They spoke of an energy which we had previously not known its name of. They spoke of chaos, saying that it had...
Directly at Grimnar.
I would say his ears perk up, but I don't think bear ears perk up. But he perks up.
They spoke of a large accumulation of chaos, which we know very little about, but according to them, it is the root of our problems here, and they offered to help us solve our problem.
This doesn't sound right to me. Sure, chaos can be used for nefarious purposes, but it is in itself not harmful or not evil. It is a fundamental force that drives the fate of all of us.
I don't know much about your chaos, big guy. But currently, the only fundamental force that's driving us right now is the amount of shells that we can put out per day, the barricades we put up. Because if we lose here, if all of this falls, it's over. For all of us. I don't know about chaos, but I know that right now, we need as many people as we can. Are you all willing to help us?
Which way did they go?
When we finished our conversation, they quickly departed. I had 2 of my scouts follow them, and it looks like they went off into the Blastlands, which was a rather foolish endeavor. You all had landed right in the center of the Blastlands, where you should count yourselves very fortunate that you were able to make it out of there alive. It is
Very dexterous.
So I've heard. They seem to be walking towards a large mountain range, where, at least, the majority of our troubles seem to be coming from.
Well, perhaps we could be of help. Perhaps it's not a coincidence that we are here now, in your time of need, but I think we need more information on this conflict. How did it start? When did it start? Why? What are you fighting for?
And as you say these things, you hear Gund sort of slap the table and he's like, "Where's that damn squid?" He'll tell him. And then Triss looks at Gund. She gives him this, like, dagger-sharp look. And then she regards you all again. This war started many, many years ago. I think this is year 10. But it changed. Before, it was merely us against everybody up top. A very classic battle of above and below. All of us, the inhabitants of the Underdark versus the people of the Overworld. They kept coming into our homes, our temples, in search of treasure, in search of adventure. And we fought back. When we were losing terribly. And so, a coalition was made. We put all of our resources together, every being in the Underdark coming together under one banner. And we made something to help us win this war. We didn't expect it to work as well as it did. It stopped regarding us as allies and started to regard us as resources and obstacles. As it stands, the Warmind means to bring us to extinction. And all we can do is hope that we can push it back.
So you created your own problem. And her eyes just slightly regard Gon, considering he's a chief artillerist.
Yes. We made our own problem. Meant to save us. And now it is our damnation.
Grimnar's gonna kind of turn to Nehebka and Muffy, and if this conflict was going on for 10 years, shouldn't we have heard about it? How is it that we know nothing about this?
I was going to ask the same thing.
Are we to know about every conflict that happens in every part of the world and the world beyond?
No, but once that involved mentions of chaos, maybe.
But that would be a recent issue, it would seem.
It's true that the void is vast, but 10 years? Surely, have you not sent word? Have you not called for aid before now?
We began to call out for aid when the Warmind turned its attentions to us and started trying to kill us all. But by that time, its power had grown so immense that every message we had sent, everything that we tried to do was distorted and deflected. The Warmind seemingly casts an umbrella over Dämmerung. It intercepts messages, it makes communications difficult at best. Magic wanes and waxes, it ebbs and flows, it is unnatural, to say the least.
Did you say where we can find this Warmind? Or no?
If, provided that our intelligence is still correct, there's a chief mountain range, a principal mountain, roughly 2 days travel south from here. That is where we hope to stage a desperate operation. We've been building up to this for some time now, and maybe it is rather serendipitous that you all have arrived. We've managed to harness another power. You might call it divine intervention. And our hopes is that we can use this power to ultimately destroy the entirety of the Warmind's lair, whether it means bringing the mountain down on top of it, or going within its caverns and destroying it itself.
And is this mountain range the same direction the two traveled?
Yes, that is correct.
Then we must do what we can on our own to consult our powers and eventually make our way there. That is our goal. Would seem we are aligned.
Good. And that pleases me. Though I would make a request of you, as you all are guests here in this camp. I'm sure as you all notice that there is much activity going on, and there is much that needs to be done. If you all would be willing to help us as we build up to this coming operation, I would be greatly in your debt.
What would you have us do?
Engage with the camp and see what needs to be done. There's always something happening. And I'm sure that newcomers will help lift their spirits.
All right.
What? Okay.
This seems reasonable, but I do have a question. You mentioned some sort of new power or new weapon. What exactly are you going to use? And you created this Warmind as a weapon once. How do you know you're not making the same mistake twice?
And Gunn speaks up this time. He says, "Because the squid's not involved. It's my specialty."
Squid. You keep mentioning this squid. What is the squid?
You've never seen one of them before?
Is he a Kuatoa?
You know, they got the tentacles on their face. They eat your brain. What do you all
Do
call
any
them?
of us know what this is?
Actually, yeah. You know what? Would you all have ever met an illithid before?
Not me.
I don't think so. I mean, it seems like not a common thing, maybe.
I'm gonna say, like this will probably be the first time you've all interacted with or heard of like the illithids or the mind flayers or anything like that.
Okay.
They're called illithids, but they go by another nickname. They go by mind flayers. They suck out your brains.
Would we have heard stories of this, even if in passing?
Make me a history check.
14.
14. I think that you've heard. So, as members of the Void Domain, obviously you guys would be sort of like the far-ranging vanguard. You all would be tasked with patrolling the void and thereby also be aware of some of its dangers or some of the other peoples inhabiting the sort of astral sea or the void itself. I think that you, through various studies, might have come across mention of, tentacled shell-shaped starcraft or spacecraft, or I should say voidcraft, traversing the stars, or reports of some void knights, heading out and being attacked by, they would have called them sort of like tentacled vampires, some sort of very sort of disparate, sort of like scattered mentionings here and there, but not enough to really get the full grasp of like who or what they are. Just that they exist and they can be dangerous and they are out there.
And I guess I have to make sure CB understood. They developed what became the Warmind with the squid, with them or without them?
With them.
With them. Great, thank you. Then Nehebka would just not impressed with Gond. Not that she needs to be impressed, but just there's an ego that she doesn't care for. So you believe that you alone, without assistance, now have the means to your salvation.
Never said without assistance. Everybody here contributes to this effort. And yes, even the squids. But they made this principal problem. And they never told us about how bad it could go. They didn't tell us about that final little piece to their puzzle. All of these fluctuations. They tell it to you. Told us they were making a brain. Something that could think. Something that could help us out-strategize the overworlders. As Triss mentioned, we were...
Does that not sound concerning?
Sounded fine. Their culture is all about brains and eating brains, and at the time, we all agreed. We were desperate. So we said, fine.
Nervous that it's your brain.
At this mention, when you say that, everybody sort of cast a downward glance. And Trisavin looks to everybody of like non-importance. Pretty much just her, Gund, and Grim. She says, everybody leave. And everybody files out.
Oh. I'm sorry.
There's nothing to apologize for. This is new for you. We made sacrifices that we felt were necessary to survive. And now we find that those sacrifices were in vain. When I say that we all collectively contributed to this Warmind, it is both literal and physical.
Oh. But they're being very forthcoming with a lot of information right now, but I think Grimnar is still skeptical. Is there any way to insight what they're telling us to see? I feel like they're still like something, because they're so forthcoming. It seems like there's something they're purposely omitting.
So they are definitely giving you a softer version of this story. They're not giving you the full details about what necessarily motivated the creation of this Warmind or how terribly it spilled out of control. They've both mentioned that there was a previous war between the Underdark and the Overworld. You all pick up on that. There's not been any mention of the Overworlders since that initial comment.
They're all gone, probably. Maybe.
She's definitely giving you sort of like an abridged version of the events.
Me. So you gave a part of yourself to make something better, to make something that could understand and help you in this war. And now, the very part that you gave seeks to destroy you.
Yes. Cruel irony.
Is it ironic? Or is it just a natural consequence to action? Too many, how do you say, cooks in a kitchen?
Gund clenches his fists. He cracks his knuckles. Sorry if that was super audible. And he looks at you and he's like, "You weren't there. You don't know. They were raining down on us. They were destroying our homes. It was us or them. And we made a choice. And it was fair. And now... yeah, now it's gotten out of control. But what was the other alternative, huh? Just let them wipe us out?"
Forgive me if you misinterpreted. Forgive me if you thought I cared. I'm merely looking at all of the actions taken thus forth and trying to come to an understanding so we, and he looks at the three of, Grimnar and Muffy, can help. Your feelings are not the important part. What is important is how you traverse next, which is why this divine power is now intriguing. What is different?
Tristan, I'll let you do this. And Gund walks out.
Does not
Tristan-
give them a look.
Yeah. And I think Gund in this moment gives you a bit of space. He's not trying to be overly rude, but there's no sort of like comments. You can just tell that he's done, you know. Tristan unfolds her arms and puts her hands on the table. And she says to you all, during those early stages, we had to fight other powers. I'm sure that you all are familiar with various forms of magic, summoning, things of a rather astral nature. Clerics that can summon champions of their gods, or warlocks that can summon demons from beyond. We, in our fight, were able to strike down one such being. It took a lot of effort, and without the Warmind, we would not have been able to do it. But there is the corpse of an angel, gargantuan being of light and justice, whose power threatened to overwhelm and annihilate us all. Gund has determined that in the same way that we were able to make many of the munitions that you'll see scattered around the camp, we can harness that literal divinity, that power from beyond the stars, and weaponize it into a bomb of great destructive potential, one that, if used correctly, would be able to destroy the entirety of the Warmind's base of operations, its entire network. At least that is the hope, that is the goal.
This is a lot of information to take in.
I'm trying to be as transparent with you three as possible. If you all are truly here to help, then it does not benefit me to lie to you.
Thank you for that.
When do you plan unutilizing this divine power.
When it's completed, but that is Gunn's field of expertise. He's been leading the development of this armament. He currently has its construction site under heavy guard, and I trust him to do what needs to be done.
How long have you two worked together?
Since the beginning.
10
He
years
came
ago.
from... Say again?
10 years ago?
Yes. When all of this started to come to a head. And then when the Warmind turned against us, well, there was you could call it an exodus, as we all began to flee from the Underdark and now populate the above world that you see here. Soon dwarven bastion cities were crossing with drow conclaves, goblin warrens, kobold dens, you name it. There wasn't enough space for all of us, and the walls were closing in.
Well, much information needs to be pondered upon. Would you have a place where the three of us can find rest? Or
Certainly.
a place where we can find understanding?
Certainly. The barracks are open to everyone, and with recent actions, they are less populated than they have been. You're welcome to take up residence there.
Thank you.
He just looks at the two and see if they have any more questions.
She looks up at you both, wondering the same. Shall we?
Yes, let's take a stroll.
I know that, the way we speak as players can be like broken in a way. Was there any hesitancy in Grimnar? Did he want to act more and just didn't?
I don't think the hesitancy is in needing more information. I think he's got some questions to ponder with you all that he doesn't want to say publicly. But yeah, there would be some hesitancy there, and there's more to talk about for sure.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Just goes. Then, where do we go?
Grim goes ahead and pipes up. He's like, yeah, look, I know there was a lot to take in, but here, you guys come with me, and I'll give you all a little tour of the camp. Sound good?
Sounds great. Muffy
Cool.
would start following, but not until her party also starts moving.
And as you all are getting ready to leave, Triss says, we'll be conducting a meeting tomorrow morning, if you would like to join us, discussing the hopeful usage of this armament, if you would like to join us.
Sure.
Yes, we'll be
Until
there.
the morning. She lets you all go.
All right.
Cool. As we come out to the camp, noise returns. There's still activity going on. Grim takes you all through a rather leisurely stroll. He says, hey, look, don't let Gund get you down. Dude's grumpy. He's always been grumpy. And Triss, love her to death. But she's got a lot of stuff on her shoulders. I'm sure as you all can see.
What do you think of all of this?
What do I think? Where do I begin? The mess, you know? It's a huge mess, and we're kind of stuck in it. But I really don't see another alternative. I mean, me and my red caps, we do what we can. We go and rescue folks from out in the Blastlands. We do commando operations. We do everything. You know, this is our home. And of course, we've got the city to worry about too. I mean, if the Warmind gets through, then it has access to the gate. And if it gets to that gate, I mean, it could spread everywhere. And that would be, I don't think anybody would want that, right?
Sure.
Has that been a consideration that the Warmind already knows if that is a literal piece of everyone who helped it become? Wouldn't it mean it has the ability to at least somewhat know what everyone else knows?
I mean, if you're asking if I think that the Warmind knows about this armament that we're making, I don't think it does. There were.
Is that what you've been told?
That's what I believe. I mean, we didn't start coming up with this thing until, I don't know, roughly maybe a couple of months ago. It's genuinely last ditch, and don't tell anybody I said that. But we're running out of options. Every day it's something new. And to what Gund was talking about earlier, I don't think that the Warmind can put skin on a Warforged and have it act like a person yet. But I also don't want to be proven wrong. And so the sooner we can kill this thing, the better I'll sleep at night.
Just continues walking. Just like Grimnar, I think that the level of, if anybody has a good enough insight, more questions not to be asked right now.
Thank you for your time. We're gonna go
certainly.
rest. And Muffy would turn and head in y'all's direction.
Anything from you, Grimnar?
No, I think Grimnar's still kind of stewing on the questions and listening to the information. I think there's too many. Presumably, we're walking through this camp. There's too many ears and too many eyes to be discussing this openly. Any potentially dissenting information or probing information, I think this is not the place. So, but he is going to be looking, kind of while he's listening to this, be looking and trying to perceive. Presumably, people are going to be looking at them because they're new. But there were these strangers that we heard about that came through. So, are there other people here that look out of place? He's going to be kind of scanning the folks looking by, looking to see who's looking at them in more than a novelty kind of way.
Gotcha. And let me also go ahead and ask this: do you all want to take Grim as a guide, or just wander through the camp?
I think at least he's taking us to wherever the barracks are.
Yeah.
I don't mind having him on hand, like if we need somebody.
Okay.
But a little bit of freedom with just the three of us.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Cool. As you all enter the barracks at this time, it is fairly empty. It's sparsely decorated. There's multiple cots lining each side of the wall, roughly 10 in total, so 5 on each side. You can see that there are various supplies, pieces of equipment arranged near the cots, arranged near the doors, so that if in a sudden haste things need to be picked up and equipped, they can do so. There's a couple of tables where you all can see a couple of bottles of, various, like liquors and spirits, a deck of cards here, a couple of dice there. Somebody has, a pinup slapped up on the wall, and you all can see some books lying around. But otherwise, right now, it's mostly quiet. Nobody's in this room, so you all have the barracks to yourselves.
Perfect.
Grimnar would first go towards the doors of the barracks, or if flaps if it's a tent, looking for eavesdroppers.
Give me a perception.
You're so funny. I was about to say I want Muffy to look underneath the beds. She's like it on the
18.
floor.
With your 18, as you approach these tent flaps, you don't pick up anything, you don't hear anything, and even peeking out, you can see that there's too much activity going on. Just everybody sort of, they have a job, they have a duty that they need to do, and so in the middle of the day right now, that's what they're going about doing. Nobody's really paying y'all any mind. Nobody's coming to the barracks.
Okay, so he will kind of peek his head out that tin flat to make sure nobody's listening, but then like, okay, so I don't want to say that these people are lying to us or that there's something going on, but it just seems there was a specific lack of information on these overworlders past a certain point.
Also, a lot of information given to us.
Yes, it's true. I am torn. Their plight seems legitimate in some ways, but I don't know. Out of chaos comes order. Perhaps this is the will of chaos, and they should reap what they have sown.
There is a lot that is happening in Dämmerung, and I do believe that too many strings lead to the same location. I believe that our job will inevitably benefit them, but their plight is not ours.
Yes.
It seems to me that I am weary because if they were willing to sacrifice their enemy and themselves to the Warmind for its creation, what else? If they're willing to kill an angel and use its power for themselves, what else are they capable of? What are they willing to do?
What feeling did you both get from Gund?
Kind of an asshole.
I'm glad you said it.
He is the single piece of sand that will break the hourglass. He has a lot to lose. He believes he alone can do much. His ideas are what is going to save this place. And I believe that his actions shall be the ultimate downfall of Dämmerung.
Mm.
I think that there's irony in him showing up right as this was beginning. That's the information I clung on to.
Hmm.
I believe that they are all of the same land underneath. The Drow, Duragar, even perhaps this Illithid. I don't think that is personally what strikes me. What strikes me is how far they are willing to go. If they've already gone far, and that has failed them.
Yes, there is there's a certain desperation in the air here.
But when desperation calls the Warmind, what is this new feeling that is causing them to create this divine bomb?
I don't know, but I am also curious. Creating this bomb, you had asked if they were aware, if the Warmind was aware, and they seem to pay no mind to this. But a giant brain, made of presumably other brains, it's probably pretty intelligent, right?
It has its own ability, sentience, especially if it's been able to put itself into these metallic shells.
Then perhaps this war is already over and they don't know it yet.
Like you said, when chaos comes order, do we just let it happen?
I do believe, though, that the appearance of these two, that is a problem.
Mm.
Especially if the power that the Warmind is now using is of the Shadow King.
Yeah.
Perhaps that is where our interests converge. These unknown strangers showing up at an auspicious time.
2 days ago.
Perhaps that is or that is the key to the information we need.
I will consult the sands, see what they tell me. I believe there is more that we don't know, and we should be at our complete capacity. Something tells me that this is going to be a test for all of us.
Well, shall we rest after we find some food?
I definitely could eat. Is there anything close by that smells good?
Yeah.
When you walked in, you all passed by a mess hall.
But does it smell good?
Yeah, it doesn't smell good.
Yeah,
Do you want to eat it?
You all smelled like grilled meats, but then like again, you also saw that there was like a very eclectic array of food. So it's always worth a shot. It's worth an investigation.
Is this a bougie mess hall or?
I turn up my nose to sniff around.
Sniffing around in the tent. It's a bit musty in here, but at the very least, outside.
A lot of socks.
Yeah, a lot of sock. Kind of smells like, like mud and sweat. Not you, Mudcat, like mud.
No, yeah, both probably.
But yeah, outside though, definitely passing. Like if you were to step outside, you would catch a whiff of food being served and food being prepared.
She would. And stepping out and getting away from this musty smell. And as she opens this door, just, yes. And
Like
turning back to the other
fresh
two. Yeah.
Cooked meat.
Turning back to the other two. Well, we can get food and perchance talk to some other people. Either together or separate. That's the fun part. What would you both like to do?
You all go on. I would like to consult the sands first.
Yes, we will meet you in the mess hall. We will scope out the happenings. He's really just interested in the food.
Yeah, we'll scope out the happenings, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Happenings upon our plate. All right, so Muffy would just kind of nod at you. Grimnar.
I will find you. And as a matter of fact, just a couple of particles just find themselves attaching to like clothing or pieces upon you, just so she knows where to go.
Oh, that's cool.
That is cool.
That is actually really cool.
She is the sand is she.
So as you all begin to split, stay here with Nehebka. What does this ritual look like? How does she consult the sands?
You're gonna see her find a spot in the middle of this area, kind of the back of the mess of the barracks, but it's still in the middle of the area. She finds herself sitting down. Actually, she begins to like almost speak a ritual in an archaic language, one that CB doesn't know. And as she just kind of splays her hand has nothing in it. But as she just splays her hand and kind of turns around in the circle, you see piles and piles of sand are starting to be drawn around her, forming this circle. And then you see her in the middle of the sand, almost draws what seems to be an ankh of some sort. And then as she sits in the middle of this, she displays her hands up, and there's going to be almost this covering of particles all around her, and this dome just ever so floating softly around. And as she kind of goes into the meditative state, she's going to cast divination, but she's doing a ritual for divination. And she's give me just a second. Casting you. Well, I guess I don't need to do that because it was a ritual.
Yeah, it's ritual.
Yep. But and as she does her rituals, what basically happens is the sands around her takes on these shapes and signs and sickles, almost like hieroglyphs of sorts, to give her an understanding of what might be. And she is going to ask, what are the actions of the... Actually, I guess I'll say it. My God King, I must know. These two wandering travelers, where do their feet take them? What is their purpose in this ruined land? She's trying to see what actions they might be taking soon.
Okay.
That's going to help her know.
So specifically, okay, so with the way that divination works, and what did you say the name of this deity was? Eternal King?
She gets to the God King.
God King. So let's see. So doesn't take into account any possible circumstances. Ask a single question concerning a specific goal, and you're just asking what their actions are here. Like what are
what are their plans? Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. So what if these two are balls?
No.
There's two cabals. Yeah, you hear there are two cabals. Yeah. But you do hear a sudden inhale, as if air has just filled lungs that have not tasted the sweet savoring. They haven't tasted air in like millennia. The lungs expand. Their steps, their purpose. Shadows lengthen. Chaos beckons.
I can't spell beckons. Oh my god. There you go. I'm struggling over here.
You're good. And then in terms of like the additional actions, were you looking specifically for like, are they going to like fight this thing? Are they going to move? Like, I'm trying to be cryptic without being like
trying to understand why they're here.
Okay.
And if that doesn't give me much, I am going to innately cast it again, and there's a 25% chance that it will fail. I'll get a random reason, but
I'll go ahead and say this. So for the full reason that they're here, then, because this would be a success. It says shadows lengthen, chaos beckons, and then the third thing that you hear is a new king rises. And every king needs its crown.
Okay.
I think yes, that should satisfy it.
Yeah, that for sure. She is going to recast. I'm going to roll a percentile. Great. Oh no, I just got scared.
Good. It's not 25 or less.
Exactly. And she is going to say, how is this king seeking to find its crown?
Okay. There's another rush of air. Another exhale. And this time, as you cast the ritual, as you're getting so involved in this ritual, you swear for a moment that you can almost feel the heat of a distant desert sun against your back. That there's a sudden noise of wind snaking over dunes long since lost. You can feel this seeming radiance move from your back over the crown of your head and almost directly in front of you, as if this presence is now regarding you in earnest. And remind me one more time, your question is, how is it going to?
How is a king seeking to find his crown?
When something is broken, its pieces lie scattered. And every piece has a reflection. When bathed in light, oh, what shadows it will cast. Look where the darkness gathers.
Is that one bathed in light? What? Sorry, I didn't get that.
When one is bathed in light, oh, what shadows it will cast.
Oh. Thank you. Okay. Noted. I think that's going to pull her back, and suddenly all of the sand retracts into her. Literally touching skin, touching hair, touching body, it literally forms back into her. She...
And quick question.
Quick answer.
Does Nehebka's passive perception or tremor sense work while she's in this divination?
We can leave it to a roll.
Okay. Then go ahead and roll me a... Yeah, I guess this would just be perception.
Great. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that is the fair thing, because I think she is so entranced in her power, but she is a power, so the sand is her. So, yeah, let's see.
Oh.
Well, 18.
Hey, I'm sorry, what? 18. I was about to say, I was like, oh, might be low. With an 18, as she comes out of the trance, you can immediately detect the presence of somebody standing in the opening of the barracks.
Can I tell their state of mind? Not state of mind, but their state. Like, what is their intention?
I think that in this moment, you would have... This is almost like as in they've just sort of like stepped on the scene. There's not really any intent right now. More of just like somebody has entered this space as you were coming out of your divination.
Gotcha.
And so saw all the sand fall, saw it reform into you. Does Nehebka have sort of like a 360-degree vision if she's the sand?
Kinda. I mean, I'm playing with that. I mean, that's not really a mechanical thing, but I think, yes, she has a high passive perception. Okay. And I think that kind of reflects through the fact that she's kind of can see all or feel all, at least, especially with the tremor sense as well. It's kind of all of that power together.
With the tremor sense, and because you told me about that super cool thing last time about being able to detect heart rates, you detect a heart rate that is going through the roof. It is... and you hear a very sort of diminutive voice ask out, are you okay?
The sands have no feeling, child.
I'm just here to... I'm just a mail courier. I'm here to drop mail off. Do you need a moment?
She stands up, kind of. You see, like, absentmindly dust herself off. But what's funny is as she dusts off the excess sand, it kind of like goes down to her feet and immediately gets sucked back into her. So she's not actually dusting herself off.
Huh.
Do not worry. Do your job as I have done mine. And she will begin to walk towards where she knows her particles are.
As he gives you a wide berth here, and you can see that this is effectively a hobgoblin. Rather like medium height, a little bit bulkier than Grim was, but definitely on the younger side. He, as you're getting ready to leave, he goes, I don't mean to bother you, but are you a magic user by any chance?
If that is your primitive way of asking, can I affect the world around me? Yes.
Kind of just looks left and right like, primitive. Okay. Well, if you wouldn't mind, we could use some help down at the wards, keeping the camp camouflaged. If you have a talent with magic, we could use the help reinforcing them. If you don't mind.
I will see what can be done.
Thank you. And he lets you go.
She's gonna walk. And I guess he can make a perception check, maybe. But some of the sand goes onto him.
Yeah, sure. I'll roll the d20. Nothing. This kid is so caught off guard by what he's just witnessed. He's not checking for sand. He's checking for his life right now. he's like, was that the end? Like, I don't know what I just saw. I've never seen that in my life. I just wanted to deliver some mail, and now I got to go do other chores. And there's this crazy sand woman in the barracks. What's going on here? What have we come to?
My bad. And it's just in case she needs to know where he might go.
Gotcha.
But also in game time, that would have been 20 minutes more-ish, because there was two different divinations of the rituals. So whatever they do, but she's gonna start heading towards them.
Okay, so we'll actually now swap scenes to Grimnar and Muffy. As you both are walking through the camp, both of your noses pick up on the scent of, again, grilled meats, some form of vegetable, something that smells a little bit of star anise and cinnamon, all leading you to a large sort of open mess tent where you can see a good number of the camp's sort of population is gathered. Food has seemingly just finished being prepared, in addition to what would normally be around. It looks like this is the main part of lunch, and you can hear a little bell ringing, a little ding 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 ding. Come on, everybody! Mess is up! We're on break!
Well, what better way to conduct some investigation than starting with their food? She's looking around, her hands together, excitedly sniffing.
Yes, it's true. If we really want to get inside of the minds of these people, we must live like them. Then
you understand?
Yes, we must do what they do. Practice their customs.
If everybody would do this first and foremost, it's very important.
Yes, I agree. Let's beelining for the food.
Yes. She's like quickly following behind with her little legs.
Gotcha. And as you all enter this tent, this time there's not like a record scratch moment, but you all definitely see a bunch of people like look up at you. And they're like, quick little glance, like, whoa, Jesus Christ. Like, whoa, this guy's huge, and whoa, hey, who's this little thing?
Sorry, pardon me.
You hear a couple of people like, hey, whoa, hey, watch out. And as you all get in line, everybody's sort of lined up. They all have little, like tin trays and everything. You all get up to the front of this food line. There's a bugbear in an apron with a chef's hat. It's like, all right, who's next? What do you have here? And on you, I think, Grimnar, you can see everything. I don't know about you, Muffy.
Probably not.
In this moment, he looks at Grimnar, and he sort of leans over the counter, and he sees Muffy, and he's like, "Oh, well, do you need assistance, little thing?"
No. as long as it's within reaching, and she would stand a little bit taller on the back of her hind legs, kind of stretching them out a bit more. She grows suddenly, maybe like 3 inches.
Oh,
So as long as I can reach here, I'll be fine.
you have full access to the serving implements. And he's like, well, if you need anything from the backside, you let me know. We just finished up. We've got some ribs here. We have a steam sort of accompaniment of some various gourds and roots.
Ooh,
And then we
delicious.
have broth right over here. I just finished whipping up fish bones. So nice, beautiful fish stock.
Thank you.
I will take 3 of everything.
Second
Three
that.
of everything?
We have
He
a,
does-
a guest coming with us later, so
Sure.
to save the line.
And but I don't think I've ever seen you two here before. May I ask your name and your squad designation?
Well,
I'm Muffy.
I'm Grimnar. We don't really have a squad designation. We were sent from the Dread Fortress. So we are.
What's a dread fortress?
A location.
You don't know the Dread
Like
Fortress?
No, it sounds rather dour and rather grim.
Oh no, it's very fun.
I paint there.
Does that mean you don't know who the Grand Master is?
Oh,
Um,
I didn't think of that.
he like scratches his head and he's like, "Is that supposed to be a military rank, or is that a? Should I know who a grandmaster is?"
Are you joking?
You live
You're a
in the
kidder.
void? And you don't know the Grand Master? Hey, Lucia Skypiercer? She is the ruler of all
Got
of
me there,
us.
buddy.
All places and all peoples.
Of you
And me. And her.
and me
And
and
me.
us
And you.
and this place.
And everyone here.
Everyone walking around.
I mean, was there a memo? Was there a missive? Because I don't remember voting for her.
What?
Well, I don't know if there was a vote. Last I heard, she's been in power for like 700 years.
It's a long time to be in office.
She looks very good for her age.
Can I do an insight check? Does this guy really not know?
Roll an insight check, yeah.
Oh, nat 20.
Wow. Excellent. Natural 20. Yeah, no, this dude literally has no idea who Alucia Skypiercer is. This bugbear chef is just genuinely caught off guard by like Grandmaster, ruler of the void, ruler of me. Like, I don't know her.
With this 20, can I utilize it to, I guess, figure out why that is?
Yeah.
Why somebody would not know who the
I think
Grandmaster
in
is.
this moment, based upon the nature of the world, right? Like, these were all people that had inhabited the Underdark, suddenly had their livelihoods overthrown. You get the distinction that perhaps in their own sort of corner of the world and of life, they had other things going on, far more, like time-consuming things, like, I don't know, like taking care of children, their livelihood, and just never really paid attention to anything going on. You might get the distinct impression that it's like literally living like under a rock, News that might have been prevalent in the overworld never really made it down there.
Okay, she would look up at Grimnar and he really doesn't know.
Yes, I'm getting that. I suppose that we are very far from the Dread Fortress. We are at the...
Sure.
This has never happened to me before.
Well, about that food.
Yeah. Three serving. Say, does this Grandmaster sounds like she's a powerful person, a very important lady. I take it that means, are you all sort of like her emissaries? Are you all a delegation? What are you?
Suppose you could say that. We're just soldiers. Same as all of you here.
Hey, well, I love that. Hey, anybody willing to fight those metalheads out there is a friend of mine.
Yes, we love a good fight, especially you know, if you're lucky, maybe someday you can come to the Dread Fortress and fight to the death.
Yes. It's
Now,
very entertaining.
You see him cock his head, and he says, "Wait! Fight to the death? Entertaining? That what? You all
Muffy's
fight
got
to the
the
death?"
whitest, like, Fennec Fox grin all the way to where you see almost even the jowls a little bit. She's excited that this conversation has come up. So entertaining. So good.
I mean, we gotta fight death here every day. I don't know if doing it
Yes,
for
but
fun.
It's
Imagine.
it's a spectacle. You have thousands of people watching, millions even.
Mm.
I mean,
And if you win, glory.
Yes,
If you lose, that sucks.
yes, but you find
But
out
you
something
try.
about yourself if you lose.
Yes.
okay. Well, glory or self-discovery. Well,
And
I-
death, and
I
death.
guess I can.
Technically, you get death.
Wait, I just die regardless.
Well, I mean,
Ah,
sometimes they come back.
true.
When you say sometimes they come back, he just passes you all the trays, and he's like, "Tell you what, we'll have more of the conversation later. I gotta get this line moving."
Is there-
Oh, right. For sure.
can we sit
She
anywhere?
grabs her
Or do
tray,
we-
is, like, sliding it.
Yep, feel free to sit anywhere. And as,
Oh, you
as
look.
you all
I can't see.
as you all leave, you hear him mutter, "Fight to the death for fun."
I think we really got him.
I wasn't joking.
I wasn't either.
Oh,
I
okay,
mean,
good.
got him to come and sign up.
Oh, you think that we got? I see what you're saying
I
now.
hope so. I would love to watch him.
He did look. He looked pretty strong. I bet he.
Imagine if you brought a tray,
Oh,
right?
he could use a
Ooh,
ladle as like a
ladle.
yes.
Yes!
Could bop
Same
him on the
concept.
head.
You kidding? Absolutely
He could pour. He
understood.
could
And
pour
if you
hot chili
win-
on someone.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Could scald them. It would be
You're
great.
brilliant, Grimnar. We should actually pitch this.
Do you think the Grandmaster would listen to us?
Maybe.
I mean, we'd have to get in the same room as her
Perchance.
first, but that would.
Yes.
And with that, we'll pick up with Muffy and Grimnar's conversation once we come back from break. And welcome back to Pieces of a King Episode 2. For those of you who are just joining us, our brave Void Knights have seemingly had a lovely tour of the Dämmerung war camp after having met the war mistress Trisavin Banneret, the leader of the Drow Conclave here on the plain, having met Gund Ashbrow, chief artillerist and Duergar, and having had a bit more of a relaxed conversation with Grim, leader of the Redcaps squadron. The group went to a barracks where Nehebka performed 2 divinations, having been given crucial information about their mission by the God King. While Muffy and Grimnar went to the mess hall to try and recruit a bugbear chef into the D20 Deathmatch. We pick up now with Muffy and Grimnar back in the mess hall, having just been served. Take it away.
I'm telling you, this is delicious.
It's I've had better, but that was
Oh, absolutely.
but barely. Like this is pretty top tier especially for a mess hall. I feel like
themselves.
I feel like Grimnar's eating a whole fish while he says this, just like bones and everything, just like a whole fish.
You can
She does the same, but not fully. She like has to gnaw it down a little bit, like a dog chewing a bone. Yeah,
and
and
as
then
you
she would throw hers.
as you two are just destroying your plates, you've got the eyes of a couple of groups, and you see a couple of Kuatoa sitting next to you, these giant fishmen. And they're looking at you all eating, and they say, "What squad you from?"
What?
Why does everyone keep asking us this?
I think it's because they're in a squad.
What squad are you from?
We are 34th Deep Divers.
We're 35th.
You are
Hey, Grimnar.
you 35th Deep Diver?
Oh, I'll get it next time.
We're it's the 35? Yes.
Yeah, 35th.
We're just lying to him.
Go ahead and roll me a deception.
Should we both roll it or just one?
Yeah, both of you can roll it.
Oh, come on.
Whoops.
Okay.
She keeps missing the popcorn she's tossing into her mouth.
Meets it, beats it. So yes, Muffy, you're like, yeah, we're the 35th. And this Kuatoa and his entire squad, they slam the table twice. They're like, a bringer of change provides, 35th squad, 35th. And they all start chanting 3, 5, 3, 5, 3, 5.
3, 5.
What did we do?
3.
3, 5.
I think we might have. I'm not sure. Do they think we're a god
Why
of some
are
sort?
you cheering?
Because the flux bringer, the changer, has provided. We were only 34th squad. Now there is 35th squad.
Oh,
It's
we're new.
yeah.
This just happened. It's 5 minutes ago.
It means we've not been wiped out. This is good tidings. Good luck.
What?
Oh, wiped out. You've been wiped
Wait,
out. How many?
yeah.
How many are you left of you?
Does a head count? This many. And there's like
That's
7
not a
of them
lot.
left.
How many did you start with?
Does a head count? There were 7 of us at start.
Oh, well then, yeah.
Oh, so you're fine.
So you're fine.
But there was also 33rd squad and 32nd squad.
Oh, that's what I meant. How many more of them were there in those squads?
Less than 35.
And
7 each.
and
squad.
they're all gone now, or?
All gone.
But when I say gone, I mean dead. Are they dead now?
And every single Kuatoa nods and says, the change bringer has changed their lives.
Oh. Perhaps it was the will of chaos as he shoves
Is
an
this
entire
good?
fish down his throat again.
One of them points a finger at you, a briny, bony finger, and says, you know the name.
The name?
What's the-
All huddle in. They all huddle in very close to you all, and they go, the change bringer. It has many names. Many, many names.
Are you talking about chaos? Do you know of chaos?
He knows the name. He knows the name.
What chaos?
She knows the name. She knows the name. Yes, a change bringer. Changes all around us.
Yes, exactly.
You are correct.
The will of chaos binds us all and directs our paths. It is no accident that you and I are talking right now. It is the will of chaos.
They all begin to beat their hands on the table again. Chaos, chaos,
Yes.
chaos,
Grimnar also
Isn't
starts
this
beating the
frowned upon?
table.
chaos. And you hear the
And-
bugbear.
Yeah.
The bugbear.
There's
chef
crickets
goes,
in here.
Yeah, the crickets
Why
went
are there
off
crickets in here?
because I pounded on the table too hard.
Sorry, that's a part of my salad.
Quick, get that cricket. Good tasty, good tasty. As soon as they start
Protein.
bashing the table and chanting chaos, you hear like 2 other squads be like, oh my god, shut up, Jesus. And the bugbear's like, oh hey now, everybody calm down. Chaos is good and all, and then they keep chanting chaos, chaos, and they're like, oh
Yes.
hey now.
Yes, maybe we keep that to ourselves. Some people, I have learned this, that some people are not ready to accept the truth.
No, they are not ready to accept the change bringers' ways.
And so we have been enlightened, you and I.
We appreciate you as 35th deep divers. We welcome you.
Is the 3-5 as he shovels another fish down his gullet.
And they just watch you eat this fish.
He's continuing
And
to
then they
eat
pick
fish
up
in
a
front of these fish people.
Yeah, and then they pick up a fish.
Oh,
and then
I
they
didn't
eat
even put 2 and 2 together. Wait, they eat fish?
One of them eats a fish.
Some fish eat fish.
Oh, no.
That's how the ocean works.
The changebringer wills. At this moment, we'll say that Nehebka, you enter the scene now.
Yes, I think for a moment she just kind of like was just standing off to a distance, watching the shenanigans happen. and
35.
just walks through. The sands that were upon the 2 of them retract back towards her as she bypasses any food, just moving to the table that they are. You have made friends.
We're the 35th divide. What are we?
We are the 30th diver or
Dividers?
You are deep diver.
deep divers.
diver.
That's it.
Diver.
And this is the 34. They are the
34.
there's only 7 of them.
And they all
started
slap
with
their
7.
chest. As you say, this is the 34th. They beat their chest twice, and then they immediately start to like gargle. I'm not actually gonna gargle, but like that's like their little like battle cry.
I hate that.
Noted. Just sits down. We have much to discuss.
Yes.
Muffy would try to mimic them.
Grimnar reminding that they're actually here to work now. Oh yes. What? Tell me. What have the sands told you? What have you discerned?
Yes.
There's a moment where she's about to start, and then she just looks down at the cool tower.
And just massive fish eyes like turn to you.
Would you mind giving us some space?
Yes. And they just look back at their plates. They've not moved. They're just looking back at their plates and eating.
Don't
Sorry,
mind.
I love these guys.
I don't think they can hear us anymore. As he waves a hand in front of their faces.
Looks back at the two, trying to ignore this as much as possible. So, the sands have told me much. I fear we have more that is pertinent. The two that have come before us, I believe that they are in alignment with what was the Shadow King.
That's pretty severe.
But I believe there is much it still needs to do. And she'll almost like recite what exactly she was told. Their steps purpose, shadows link them, chaos beacons, a new king rises, and every king needs a crown.
Every king needs a crown. What? What do you think the significance is?
I looked into this. I do not know if the pieces of them all act alone or are seeking each other. But this alone is still a problem.
Yes, well, it seems then that these two figures are indeed our purpose here then. I know that there is a larger conflict at play, but perhaps we have to let chaos decide the fate of these folk.
As much as this is not our problem, I do now worry if the pieces are working separately. What happens if one finds a crown within the Warmind? Do they all
Find an
vie
answer.
to be the king?
Oh.
It is a good question, and I suppose if this king is rising, it would be a great threat to the Grand Master.
That it is, which means we must deal with this Warmind too.
Did the sands tell you where we should go for that?
It is clear the steps that they took, the two we must follow. And they, according to the Drow, head to the Warmind.
Do you think that we should that we should go with this group? Should we accompany them or go on our own? What is the... Have the Sands told you the path?
I'm actually more interested to know what Chaos has told you.
Grimnar's going to close his eyes for a minute, just here in the mess hall, and you would almost feel a static electricity, kind of, if you were close to him, like that tingliness around like a balloon, that kind of starts to raise some of the hair on your arms and neck, and as he kind of charges his body a little bit with chaos energy and just seeks to listen for any sign that he can interpret. he's just taking a moment to kind of be still.
Okay. You know what? Yeah, I'll say make another religion check again.
Okay.
Could I give some guidance?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you casting guidance?
Yeah, I mean, you
Okay.
would see that as she's speaking to you. I actually think she might even like stroke the side of Grimnar's face, and she would like leave It almost becomes hot to the touch, and as her finger pulls away, you do see just the print is just glass.
Ooh.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
as it actually just touches, that is going to be the guidance that she gives.
15.
Excellent. So with a 15, as Grimnar, as you still yourself, as you close your eyes and the sound fades from the mess hall, you can hear your own heartbeat. But as you listen deeper, you can hear another heartbeat. Distant. So very distant, but nonetheless beating with intensity. And it's almost as if there's this faint sort of tracing. You can see the multicolored energy of how chaos manifests seemingly flowing around you in this space, and as it seemingly dips beneath your feet and goes into the earth, it rockets off south. And you tilt your head towards that facing, and off in the distance, exactly as Trisavin told you, seemingly highlighting a large mountain peak, you can see a pulsing orb in the distance of raw chaos, condensed.
I think Grimnar just seeing this sight and kind of the world kind of fading away to the sounds of lightning and thunder, kind of brings himself back to the table and being present. I don't know what it means, but chaos has shown me the mountain. I believe that is where my path lies.
And the sands lead me there as well. She like quizzically for a moment, then looks down at Muffy.
You would actually see Muffy, as you had asked the question, was the chaos tell you? She would have been rummaging quickly in her bag for one of her plain pieces of paper. But she always has this exact paper on her, never changing it. It will just change paintings. She brings out her paintbrush, and she begins to draw on it. It's a dry brush. There's no wetness to it. She hasn't dipped it into anything. And almost as if there is like a corrosion of this paper happening in front of you. And it depicts a picture slowly appearing, like she's drawing with invisible ink, and it's revealing different pieces and starts to become like a topography map. So you can see what would happen to be around the location that Chaos is leading her. So would she perchance see something similar? I'll roll for it as well. But as it reveals, so it's more like a visual form for everybody.
And so this is like she's drawing a map and then letting the ink sort of like point.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. So for Muffy, would this be like? Because does Muffy sort of subscribe to like the religious veneration of chaos, or more of just like tapping into it as like the primal force?
I would say it's a little bit of both. She's not as fully into the religious aspect of chaos. Not that she's not wanting to be, it's just she's not there.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be unheard of.
I'm gonna say, give me a performance check.
I also just love the description of all of that.
Yeah.
Ooh, only a 7.
It's okay. As you paint this, seemingly the ink itself, and I should also ask, does the ink have a certain like viscosity? Is this like an acrylic, like a watercolor, like an oil?
Almost none of it, but because it would go on dry and like an invisible ink, and it like would reveal itself. Maybe the edges or like the décolletage would be more watercolory, like watered down, and then it would get more inwardly, more opaque, looking maybe more like an oil, but then it becomes that 4D, 3D aspect.
Right.
And it looks just like solid, like it was formed.
Okay. Muffy, you also, as this painting begins to manifest itself, and remind me one more time, were you looking to get like a full sort of like recreation of like where you're trying to go, or like
Ish. It can be dependent on the role, of course. How much detail is up to you, but more so what they both have been either told or seen in their mind, and to bring it to a life where they can all visualize it at once.
I think in this moment, so the mountain manifests itself on the page, but instead of seeing the entirety of the mountain, right, you're seeing a space roughly at the like 25% of the way up. You're seeing a tiny little crevice, seemingly like a small little black dot that you can discern as, oh, this is it. It's the mountain, but here, this is that entrance. This is where we need to go. The other thing of note here is that the sky itself, right? So the mountain itself forms, and it's highlighted by that same magenta hue that you all saw out of the warfords that were attacking. But radiating further off of this mountain, taking up the entirety of the horizon and the skyline, you not only see that magenta, but you see the same sort of oil slick pattern that you recognize as what chaotic energy would look like in paintings, or as it manifests here in the physical plane.
Okay, and you would all see this. So as you look down at her, she's putting her brush down, and, well, I suppose it's here.
Then we have our destination.
Yes, but we must be very careful. Now seeing this vision of my own plus this map, it's becoming clear to me that there is a concentrated amount of chaos energy here. And that is very dangerous. Chaos cannot be controlled. It can be wielded. It could be directed. But trying to hold on to too much will lead to ruin.
You are the acolyte of chaos. What would you have us do once we deal with this Warmind? How do we harness, control, bring back? That is our job, yes. To understand, to deal with, to contain.
I am not sure. But if there is this amount of power and energy in one place, and if perhaps these two figures are trying to seize it for themselves or for this king, then we should be careful to keep it out of their hands. What we do after we stop them, we'll have to figure out, but I think the first step is to deny it to them.
Then we are of one accord.
Nehebka, do you eat? She says, reaching forward and lifting up a chip with some hummus.
Totally.
It's delightful.
I really don't think she does.
Okay.
More for me as he just reaches forward and bites it off your hand.
Absolutely. I think I get that. What it is, she like takes something, just like holds it and like inspects it. I was not created to eat. I was created to protect.
Wait, are people ever created to eat?
I'm sure in
That
some.
sounds like a great life. Truly.
I'm sure in
Imagine.
some domain of delight they are.
Unless they're created to eat to become then fodder. That part. Don't like it.
Okay, Animal Farm.
Like pigs led to the slaughter.
Sorry, I don't understand this reference you're talking about.
Yeah, she didn't seem to flinch when Grimnar takes the food. I think there's a moment where she kind of studies it, and perhaps she might think there's a potential for her thinking about what that could be, what that is, but just not her purpose. Her purpose has shifted now.
When he bites the chip out of your hand, does he get like a mouthful of sand? How's that work?
I don't know.
And then it slithers out of your mouth, or you digest it later.
Roll a percentile, maybe. Let's see. You're looking for. Oh wait,
roll for sand.
Wait. I think if you get a 25 or under, you get sand.
Oh yeah, I got sand.
No. That's a lot of sand.
It's like you're pondering the meaning of food and life, and like he just kind of like leans over and is like, just bites a sandy finger off.
I mean, that's basically what happened. I'm not gonna lie. I think as she's pondering, you would all see that she almost, I'm gonna say ungelified because I'm thinking of a very Potter musical for some reason. But you'll see her almost like shift a little bit, almost become less solid just for a moment. And I think that's enough for her finger. And she just looks down, looks up at you, and honestly probably pulls the sand back out of your mouth and it reforms.
I feel like that's gonna be a weird sensation. He just sits there and is like,
So What time of day is it? Probably evening, I assume?
Say again?
I said probably evening, I assume? Or
Yeah. Sun's setting. You all see at this point that our bugbear cook is beginning to sort of wrap things up for the night, leaving out just pretty much like a sort of late night array. Like the next shift is coming in for the teams that have to do the night work and all of that stuff.
Yep.
We might
And
be
people
that
are being
bugbear in
silent.
the D20 deathmatch.
I really think that he could be strong.
I'd put my money on him.
Yes, I don't know about that. I mean, I have.
Why?
I mean, he's got good shoulders, but we don't know anything about them.
But he also doesn't have as much knowledge, and sometimes not being the brightest leads to the best fights.
That's true, but I'm not sure that he would play well to the crowd. And
I don't know. He's pretty personable, and he gave you all of the meats you asked for.
that is true. That is true. Perhaps we will circle back in the morning and try to convince him.
Sounds good. Bed?
Yes, it seems like we have an early morning meeting, so maybe we should go to sleep.
Then sleep we must.
Do you have to sleep?
Yeah. What are you?
Sorry, do you have to sleep? Do you sleep?
Do you bleed?
I think okay, I don't want to like stretch it too much. I think that might be a level of she definitely needs to out of character long rest. You know that whenever you come into a room at night, I don't think you've done that, but if you have, she's been like in deep meditation to the point where probably to the naked eye is sleeping. I don't think she's actually sleeping though.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, then, as we all begin to file out, you all leave the 34th deep divers behind. Who I'm just going to say this. I'm just going to say this just as a point. Every time one of you said the word chaos, there was like a flick, just like a. But they were trying to be respectful and not listen. But literally every time somebody said chaos, they were like.
I promise you that I promise you there's going to be a 34th Deep Divers T-shirt in our store someday. It's already going to be. It's already going to happen.
Yes.
And remember, you smash your chest twice and you gargle. As you all head out back to the barracks, the barracks have a little bit more life in them this time around. There's a couple of drow in here. There's a couple of hobgoblins. They're all at rest. Some of them are actually playing cards at the table. Like pretty much everything that you all had seen in this room previously is now being interacted with in some way. And everybody looks fairly tired, like just coming back from a long day of work, of maintenance, of training, of drills. And as they see the three of you enter, there's a little bit of hesitance, but it quickly sort of diminishes. Like some of them might have been to the mess hall, so they're aware of the three of you, but the way that they see it, you three wouldn't be here if you weren't already vetted. So they're just like, some of them just wave at you. A couple of them like raise a bottle to you. And they welcome you all in.
Are there 3 cots in the back?
Yep, 100%.
Right. As we're going in, and this is really more for flavor, but still, as we go in and get ourselves situated, one, it's not that we don't know these people, but we don't know exactly what is happening, etc., etc. And I do have the spell Wall of Stone. I would like to make a partition to separate us from them.
Sure, yeah.
So we just have our own privacy.
You're so bougie. I'm not sure.
These people are
She's
being
quiet, but like, I'm gonna get what I want.
I just imagining everybody else. The wall goes up, and they're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, immediately like there's like a little bit of a start as like so I imagine the earth doesn't like slowly rise, right? It's like right.
I mean, it's going. No, it's actually worse. I think she gets like placed because she doesn't really sleep in a cot actually.
Right.
If
Okay.
anything, she just like gets on a knee and presses her hand to the ground, and then just all the sand starts to rush over and literally slowly but surely form the stone wall out of sand, just slowly rising up.
Oh wait, she is the wall.
Well, no, but she is the sand.
You see a bunch of people like in the room, like the various like like kobolds and hobgoblins and like others that are all playing cards. They just like stop playing. They're just like, the fuck. And then as the wall finishes, like there's another dude that's like, you want a drink?
Absolutely.
Grimnar peeks his head over the wall.
How do I put it in the sand? Do I give it to you?
No, don't touch the sand.
Good question. Can you reach your hand through the sand at this wall? Because I feel like Grimnar would just instinctively, like, if someone's holding out a bottle, he would just go.
Abdomen.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
No.
This hobgoblin is just like sort of like pressing the bottle against the wall. Like, do I just put it here? Like,
Grimnar's hand just shoots out of the.
Do I just put it here? What if Nehebka like brings out a sand hand and grabs it and serves him?
I kind of like the idea of Grimnar just going.
Just instinctively, without even thinking, just like boom.
But it's also just in case, because we don't know where we're at. We don't know who has allegiances where. Just giving us a little bit of privacy, but also protection, just in case.
But now the question is, do we get sand in this drink?
Was there a cork on the bottle?
No.
I was gonna say that the bottle is not corked, but I do kind of want the comedy of this. So we're gonna see if the bottle's uncorked, and we're gonna see if there's sand in it. Who would like to roll for sand?
Mudcat, because they're the one that grabbed it. That's their sand.
What am I rolling?
I like percentile. We're gonna go for you have a 25% chance of sand, unless Nehebka, you think that this is like a 50% chance of sand.
No, it's probably 25.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
after
right.
Grimnar's hand pops out, Nehebka's like, whoa, hey.
Well, there's our sandy
Two
drink.
for two.
You're so bad at this.
2 for 2.
Got some sandy hooch.
Now, do you notice it before you take a sip?
Of course, he's not even looking for it. He just shoved his hand through Nehebka without even like a second thought. I mean, I feel like he's literally, as he's bringing it back, it's not just like a straight back. He's through the wall, just bringing it up to his mouth.
No!
Oh,
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
that's how I feel. He's just
Doing
like,
the
it's just
cinnamon
one
challenge.
fluid motion. I just have a spoonful of cinnamon in my mouth.
Yeah, Sam, you're absolutely right. This is like 100% the cinnamon challenge right now.
You're immediately gonna go and it's gonna go everywhere.
Can I get a Constitution saving throw?
Yeah, I would love to do
Can
that.
I dexterity saving throw to not be in this line of?
Yes.
Oh, my
We're gonna
cons.
see- we're gonna see if Grimnar
Look at that
fails.
dirty 20. Finally, something good.
So with that, as you bring this bottle back, have you ever had a Turkish coffee before?
Yeah.
You get the sludge first, and it's a spiced sludge. There's a lot of flavor in this. Without really like trying to get too detailed, this is like a very sort of like homemade rum situation, right?
Like molassesy.
Yeah, a lot of molasses. You get the brown sugar, you get the spice involved, but that is immediately blended into the sand, so you have this sort of like wet, grainy, spicy sludge.
At first, I thought you were trying to say Nehebka's sand was spicy and like.
Yes, it is.
I mean,
She's a seasoned sand.
He drinks. He takes a drink and like just chokes on the sand, but then immediately goes for a second drink without even a second thought.
So was it good or no?
It's pretty good actually. There's a little bit of, I don't know what it is. There's something extra. Just
Grit?
yeah. I mean, it's a little bit a nice texture.
She saw all of this right below you.
I don't know if Nehebka's getting the sand back.
nope.
That's coming out the other end.
Your
Nehebka will explore
system
that
is going to be
man's body.
Give it a few hours.
Yeah. Can
Oh, boy.
Nehebka then know the build of his inside?
No, that is dead sand.
Ah,
now.
your organ didn't look very good. You might want to see a doctor.
That is a lot.
All of a sudden now I can get controlled like a puppet.
She left one in your brain.
Yeah, just the one.
Jesus. She's going to go into meditation.
He's gonna pass the bottle to he'll try to pass it to Nehebka, assuming that she's not gonna take it, and he'll pass it down to Muffy.
She'll take it, and she wants to look in first, see if there's any sand.
I definitely
Humid.
think that Grimnar got the majority of the sand here. It looks, you can see like a tiny little bit of grit, but otherwise you can't.
She would
tell
be
if
reaching her
that's
finger in to grab just that. You know how you scoop it up the cup a little bit
Yep,
because you keep
yep.
missing it a few times, and eventually.
Oh, my Lanto.
All right, I think I got it. And she would drink.
And as you all are sharing this drink, you definitely hear some conversation from outside the wall, and they just say like, "Hey, you know, you don't gotta be strangers."
We're not.
Grimnar poked his head through the wall.
I was about to say, can I poke my head through? Her like snout.
I love this idea that Nehebka could possibly make like a little like a little window, right? But no, it's just
We're not
Muffy and Grimnar acting through Nehebka.
It's just
I need art
all.
of this now. Please give me art of this.
I feel like it's just Grimnar's just acting off all instinct.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
See her
just
snout,
if he
not
thinks
even her
it,
full
it just
face.
happens.
Yep. You hear them jump back and they're like, oh, okay, cool. Hey,
Was there something that you needed?
oh, we were just hoping to learn a bit about you all. We've never seen you here before. Figured y'all wanted to play some cards or share some stories.
To be fair,
The
I've
next
never.
major question is, can we walk through Nehebka?
I think at this point, seeing that there is a clear want for the other two at least to converse, which is fine. She's not judging. She's not mad at that. All the sand is just gonna start to rumble, and then
Their
It's like,
bodies
why-
don't even move.
why am I
They
bothering?
just appear.
yeah, it's like why am I bothering? And the sand is just gonna retract.
Well, perfect.
Yes,
So now we can talk. And even though she's already in the middle of your sand, she can step over the remaining. She's like,
now she cares. Now we're considerate.
well, you know, now she realizes, oh, wait, this is our pal. Oopsies.
One of the drow at the card table immediately pipes up and says, "That's a pretty cool trick. Could you do that for the entire barrack?"
I just flicker over. This is no trick. And if I wanted to, yes.
And everybody at the table kind of just nods, and they're just like, "Hey, good to know. That person's a good. They can protect us. That's good."
Can she?
I'm about to say,
Yeah.
does she?
Would
does
she?
skip her?
Would she?
Ah,
she?
that's it.
Would she?
Better question.
And so, so we'll say I think I said it was a hobgoblin, but yeah, one of the hobs that offered you the bottle and then offered if y'all
The
wanted to
hobs.
like, yeah. I just like calling hobgoblins hobs. I don't know why.
The Hobbs.
Hobbs. They ask you, I think the one question that you all have been asked this entire day. So, what's your squad designation?
35th dive deep dives.
33, 5, 3, 5.
The
Th-
54
3-5.
elementals.
You just
The
3, 3,
3-5 deep divers.
3, 5.
That's the one.
That's yep.
I didn't know there was a 35th squad.
So,
We are them. Us.
No.
we.
Today promoted.
Today. A while
Oh.
ago.
We're
Uh-huh.
new guys.
Yeah.
So I take it you all do sort of like the deep diving work,
Yes,
like getting into the mud.
All the
all
time.
I get deeper than anyone ever.
Whoa.
Oh, hey
I'm
yo.
an expert diver. I've taught people how to deep dive.
If they look back at Nehebka, her face is giving away. She don't know what the heck they talking about.
They don't either, but they're confident enough.
I always thought that those. I'm not gonna lie. I know that we're all on the same side here, but I always thought that those deep divers were like a little. They're always talking about like a change bringer, and they're slamming on tables, and
Oh, the chaos. Yes.
Yes.
yeah, the chaos, and somewhere in the camp, you hear.
It's like in the back of our heads now.
Oh my Lanta.
You just have to warm up to them. It takes some getting used to.
Oh, no, definitely. They take a lot of getting used to. They're great in a fight. And, as per their name, I mean, the sort of tunnel networks that they come up with, oof, wouldn't want to be in this fight without them. That's for sure.
What? How are you? I guess I didn't think to ask this, but these machines that you are fighting, how is it that you are able to overcome them? We fought them. They are very powerful.
Yeah, no shit, man. Everybody sort of like kind of begins to ponder this as you presented this question. The hobgoblin named Calvin. Oh, I like that. Sorry.
I see what you did there.
We're gonna say that this hobgoblin, who's now named Calvin, thank you, family IT dude. He sits down and he introduces himself first. He's like, by the way, name's Calvin. Let's just put that on the record.
I saw it on your name tag.
Yeah, right here, Calvin.
I am Calvin.
Part of the 23rd Madcaps.
Calvin the Hobbs.
Calvin the Hob. Calvin the Hob. Yep, that's what they call me. Calvin the Hob.
You know, that'd be great to write about someday.
I would like to. There's a couple of artists around here.
I am an artist. I will put you into a comic strip form, and then we can bring that back. Yes, this is a big comic.
You could. Oh yeah, you could draw a comic.
We
and
bring
bring
back the classic Calvin the Hobbs.
Yep.
Calvin the Hob.
Yep, Calvin the Hob.
now a canon comic book.
You're gonna get a copyright mail.
Yeah.
Please, cease and desist.
Cease and desist.
Yep.
Beautiful.
There it is. Hey, it's fine. He's a hobgoblin. He's not a human. He's not a tiger. He's fine.
I'm writing down that idea before somebody steals it.
I mean, it would be pretty cool to have a comic book made about me. Oh, but to answer your question, it's hard. We fight with what we have. So, thanks to the Dwergar, and he points at one in the corner of the room, they were able to bring heavier armor, cannons, artillery pieces, even a couple vehicles. But the Warmind kept adapting, so we had to adapt. The Drow brought magic, we brought numbers, the Kobolds brought trickery and sabotage, so they often do mind laying. It's I mean, when we get a win, it feels good. And he looks kind of around and he whispers this to all of you. The amount of wins that we're getting, they're not that many. We're taking a lot more L's than we are W's. So
Where is your biggest L coming from?
And what is an L?
Like a win and a loss,
Why didn't you just say that then?
Look, man, there's lingo that gets said around the camp, sometimes you just go with it, you take some W's, you take some L's. It's just what it is.
Yes.
But there's the same amount of syllables.
I don't know which one, man. I don't know. Why are you checking me on syllables right now?
Grimnar is so smart.
All right, fine. It's more losses than wins, all right? And the biggest issue that we're having right now is that Warmind has adaptability. I don't know if you all saw any of the regular Warforged. Well, I shouldn't even call them regular, but they've got elven legs and they've got human arms. They can outrange us. They can run faster than we can. And then you've seen the big things. You've seen the big ones, the Titans. Those things are everywhere. Anytime we get into a fight, one of those robots raises up their arm, shoots off a flare, and then it's Warhorn Central. So we have to be crafty. We lay a couple traps here, we lay a couple mines there. Squads like the Deep Divers, they continue to make the tunnel network so that we can get out when things get bad. And then the Dwergar, they rain fire on everything. I mean, everything.
Oh? How many have you lost from them? Okay, you don't have
It's
to
not
say
intentional. I think sometimes it's just harder to I think sometimes it's just easier to get overrun, and so you just you do what you can. If you have to be the target marker, then I guess you're the target marker. Better that than getting taken by them. So
What happens if you're taken?
Oh boy.
Oh,
I wish you were
Has-
dead.
has anybody come back from being taken to tell you this?
No.
Oh. Maybe they're having a party.
And you hear some chuckles come from around the room. And they're like, yeah, I mean, I would hope that they're having a party a lot better than this.
As they're all conversing, Nehebka's in the back, but she's still sitting on the ground. But as she does, she's taking some of that sand and she's gathered back in herself. She's taken some of it and kind of just like, I want to say play with is the wrong word, but she is kind of like looking at it and sculpting and moving it. And as she does, you can see her hands, the palms of her hands are warming up, and she's beginning to shape it, turning it into the molten that's going to form glass. One of her pastimes is making sculptures. She's actually going to try to make a small sculpture, glass sculpture of Calvin.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Does Grimnar notice this? Would I
Probably.
see this?
She's not subtle about it. She's not loud about it, but she's not subtle about it. So you just kind of to herself, just looking up every so often, getting like the small intricacies of this hobgoblin's face, and almost like the face, almost like a forlorn face, thinking about what they were just talking about, how people are lost and they're trying.
His Hobgoblin's gonna be so famous with a comic and now an action figure.
Yeah. And you got like short cropped hair, like roughly shaved on the sides. Rather like
Or high and tight. Or
Yeah.
low fade.
yeah.
Grimnar, noticing this sand move and seeing that you're making a figurine, a statue of some sort, will immediately drop this conversation that he's having and rush over to you, and he will. You'll make statues?
She like kind of pauses, but she can't always pause because it's going to harden. So she's like, every so often, I was just keeping it warm. What's up? I do.
I also like to make figurines. And he pulls out a block of wood that he's been whittling on. And I shit you not, this was in his backstory that he whittles figurines of people.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Girls are all such artists.
Right? Like literally, this is what activity brings you joy? Making
That's what I put
sculptures.
too. I said I carve figurines of characters.
And for all of those at home, I had everybody fill out a questionnaire real quick. And one of the questions was, what brings your character the most joy? And everybody has picked art as their like.
That is wild.
He brings out his figurine that he's been carving it, and I'm just gonna go ahead and make the assumption that he's not very good at it with his big bare hands.
No, it'd be funny if he was excellent at it with his big bare hands.
Right.
Just like the little intricate details.
You're allowed to be good.
As you
Like
pull
chip
out
bottle
the
building.
sphere, make a performance check.
All right. Let's find out.
Yo, my God.
Hey!
Oh shit!
That's
You
hacking
literally
glory.
make the microscopic things that are in bottles.
He pulls out a wood carving of David.
Oh wow! Look at that paint.
Piece of
Piece of the king.
Very great.
That was funnier than
Bringing
it should have
all
been.
together. Yeah.
I'm also gonna do my glass. I have glass boards tools. That's what I'll use. I'm gonna make my check, but I'm gonna use guidance just to see how good it is.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
have
scared.
really
scared.
beautiful sculptures here.
24. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we both got 24. Wow.
I just want to be playing a game.
I like that
These
these guys were talking about they're like, oh, we've been beaten and bruised by this Warmind, and then it's just like, oh, statue.
Make art. Oh, wait, art. Remind me again.
I'm playing a game.
Okay, so Muffy, right now you're currently in the middle of a game of cards.
No. With dice.
Oh, with the dice. Oh, you're playing a dice game.
I would bring it out to them. Playing Cabals and Krakens.
Balls and Krakens. Okay, cool.
5e edition.
I would like to either Mudcat or someone needs to DM now an in-game version. We're all playing hobgoblins, playing cabals and krakens.
We need an in-game game.
In-game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually,
So,
sounds like a good one shot.
Yes.
Muffy, you've got the table enthralled. They're like,
You see
What?
her like exclaiming and big arms and stuff. She's like,
and this is
All these
definitely like,
sounds.
this has been sort of like the highlight of this barracks night. You've got like a bunch of people around you outside of Calvin, who's currently still interacting with Nehebka and Grimnar. You've got a bunch of people gathered around. They're asking questions like, wait, can I just like punch him in the face and like knock his head off?
Rolling a 7 on my dice check, I would say that she's a terrible DM. Horrendous, and she doesn't even really know the rules, but she's trying to make them up as she goes with them. Yes, you can punch them, and I think somebody said something about an advantage once. You get advantage on them.
Does that mean I get to like
Is it going to be
Punch him
CM
twice?
DMing as Muffy, please?
Perchance you, let me see if I remember the correct
I want to take the knife
answer
off of his
for this.
body, says a kobold.
Oh, yes, absolutely. You get to win. They only have an AC
win.
of, what's an AC? Of 10? You rolled an 11.
I want to take his bones. Give me his bones.
They're yours in your pocket already.
My bones.
Please,
So it's
they're
just one of
your
the
bones.
kobolds.
Good job.
So do we win the game?
She's gonna look back at Nehebka and Grimnar and see what they're doing as like a, I don't know, should I end the game yet or not?
I mean, it's one of those things where she's just kind of passing time. And every now and then if something fascinates her, she'll make a statue of it. So
And then Nehebka, what's the range on your tremor sense?
30, right now 30 feet.
30? Okay, doing some mental math. Okay. As this group approaches the front of the tent, you pick up... Yeah, in the front of the tent, you would pick up 3 heartbeats. All strangely calm. There's no excitement. They are perfectly calm. So before they enter, I'm going to give you the opportunity to do whatever you want to do here, having detected this.
Okay. Don't like. Yeah, I think as all this is happening, she's kind of talking and kind of having this moment with Grimnar. There's a moment where she suddenly stops. And again, it's this entire moment of her keeping it warm, keeping it going, making sure you see her just stop. And she looks up to the front. So we approach.
I think that's when Muffy would be looking back too, and then notice that and look toward that area.
Grimnar will, as you say that, kind of knowing that some about your abilities that you can sense this, Grimnar is actually going to use one of his feats or his abilities to mimic your tremor sense. So that way he, as soon as you start kind of looking at your senses and the tone changes, he's instantly going to just, you see just kind of a flash of lightning in his eyes as he also now kind of adapts that ability you have and starts to hear those heartbeats as well.
Also, I know a bunch of time has passed and we've been doing like menial tasks. Have we gotten a short rest?
I would say you know what? Yeah, I'll go ahead and say that in the span of like sort of like this moment as you all are winding down. Sure, I'll go ahead and give you all a short rest.
Okay.
Like, you know, like eating lunch and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
definitely. Like, I know some time has passed. We haven't really done much.
Yeah.
I was wondering if we were still resting that time. Great. Great. Boom. Thank you.
So as these 3 senses, or as these 3 heartbeats come into your range, now both of you can detect them. And Muffy, you're aware, and everybody sort of notices you all pick up on something, and so they all look to the front flap. And then as the lead figure enters, you notice that he's about 6 feet tall. And the way that he is dressed is immediately off-putting and eerie. If only because this figure that enters this room is dressed in almost full medical equipment. You see a double-breasted apron. You see long leather gloves here. You see that there's a sort of medic or like a medic pack on like the front, but then the apron is arrayed with all manner of blades of stabbing implements. You see that there is a wand holstered on this figure's right side, and as it enters, the most distinguishing feature about it is that it is wearing a large gas mask with two bulbous eyes and an incredibly long snout that reaches down to about the sternum on this figure. Almost like a plague doctor mask, but more mechanical, more alien in nature. It's got a large bulbous head reaching into the back of it, and there are several other tubes connecting off of this mask, seemingly going down towards the chest, almost like breathing tubes. As this one enters, the tremor sense kicks off again, and you pick up two more figures behind these three. And now 5 people have entered this room. Each one of them dressed similarly, with the exception of the helmet that the central one wears. The rest of them all wear seemingly white masks that are perfectly tailored to be sort of like a visage of an elf or a human or some sort of humanoid. They all just have blank expressions. They have white sort of like veils that go down the side and can be flipped down, but they all look like they are medical practitioners of some kind. And as they enter, the lead one, as they enter, is there anything that the 3 of you are doing here?
Muffy would be closing up this game. Yes, we're done. And standing up and kind of back.
No, I want more bones. I want bones.
What you won? You get all of the bones ever. In your next game, you get quadruple advantage. Now shut up.
Yes, my bones.
Says as she backs away.
Got
Backs her to Nehebka. Grimnar.
With the tremor sense notating that they are calm, is the heartbeat calm or is it non-existent?
The heartbeat is calm. Pulse is normal. And upon looking at these figures further, you see that their boots are caked in mud. There's a little bit of blood on the gloves, on the chest. You splatters of red on the masks that are white. They are all standing at attention in this room.
The scimitar on my side, you can see, at least Grimnar, perhaps Muffy as well. Because some of the sand just starts to coat it. As I'm going to just get a shillelagh ready, just in case. But because she didn't know the intent yet. But
does shillelagh have a verbal or a somatic component?
Technically, yes. Verbal, somatic, and material doesn't matter because druid stuff. But she would. I think if anything, yes, something's off about it. So she is going to attempt to sleight of hand it, as her.
I'm trying to think.
What do you want?
I have to remember what to do now for them to see you doing stuff. I think I have to roll insight against you.
Sure.
I think so. And then what? You would be rolling deception here?
Up to you.
So.
I mean, yeah, up to you. Yeah.
Because you're trying to hide the spell, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to have this figure roll a d20. And then I believe with the opposition. Cool. So as you're doing this, the figure raises a hand, the central figure. You hear its voice. There's no need for that. Pay your weapon. Disarm your spell.
What is Grimnar and Muffy doing? What are Grimnar?
Grimnar would have kind of similar to you, not taking any action, but you would start to see some small crackles of lightning around his burned fingers. He's not holding them up. He's kind of at his sides. But if you were to look, you were to see like these small crackles of that chaos energy around his hands. But he would probably call out to Calvin or somebody in the room. Are these friends of yours?
You can see that Calvin is like sort of like shaking. He goes, yeah, those are nightingales.
Nightingales.
That's not really going to take the edge off, so he's going to keep crackling that energy. Sounds ominous.
They're on our side, but I don't know why they're here.
When Muffy would have been moving back toward them, she would have already pulled out her paintbrush as she was putting her dice away. So she's being held more gingerly in her hand, almost being not to be inconspicuous of what it is, just a traditional long-handled paintbrush.
Gotcha.
But just watching the conversation, not saying anything.
I think in this moment, the lead figure says,
To the three of you, newcomers, if you would so kindly follow me.
And who are you?
I believe that is something that should be discussed in private. I've been sent by the War Mistress, Trisivin Banneret. She's told me so much about you.
Lies or no?
Yeah. Like what?
She's told me that you all have come to help us. And I wish
Yes.
to tell you all more about what it is that you're facing.
Is any of this a falsehood? Or were they
Yeah,
actually...
can we insight?
go for it, full insight.
I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No idea.
Where's my insight?
Yeah, you know what? I'm willing to go.
Okay,
Awesome.
so the,
Sure,
So the-
Love
sounds
your
fun.
masks.
like the Nehebka's the only one that's like, y'all see this as a problem, right?
Nope.
Perhaps we should go.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe.
What am I getting from this, sorry?
You get the feeling that there is not a lie here, but there is such a coldness about this sort of presentation that it is genuinely hard to discern if violence is going to come your way here. You know that there is a genuine invitation for conversation and that he's not lying about, him being informed of being told about you all by the War Mistress. But in terms of like, are we about to go get taken outside and like ganked real quick? Like, can't really read that.
Okay.
Calvin will say though, because one of you had asked, I believe it was Grimnar, he had asked about what happens if you get taken, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no,
Calvin, or that was Muffy?
I think it was like both of us.
Yeah, we kind of in tandem.
Yeah, kind of the same time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Calvin takes a step back and he says, the reason that we don't know about people coming back is because of them.
Why did they just not tell you, or are they the one taking people?
They're the ones who keep us from getting taken.
Oh, great! I trust him even more then.
Nehebka will stand. Not like gingerly where I'm standing, but she's been like on the ground. But she'll get up. We have no reason not to trust you if you were sent by the War Mistress.
Likewise, I have no reason to mistrust all of you. She has seemingly vetted your position here. Though I am most curious about why you find yourselves here in this camp. Please, come with me.
Oh, we can answer that easy. And with that not one, I'm following. No contest.
Oh my god, I just realized that it was a nat one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
Sam is like, no! Muffy's like, yes!
So you all are following?
Grimnar is uneasy about it, but not wanting to cause a scene when there are guests here, and he's gonna let it play out and see what happens.
I am. It's like I'm trying. It's like CB has feelings, but also Nehebka has feelings, and
I know.
surprisingly, they're one and the same kind of.
Yeah.
She's going to follow, but because she got so high of an insight, she is keeping a ping on every single last heartbeat.
Mhm.
There's even a shift of intention.
Right.
She's notating it.
Okay. So, you all exit the tent. It is now night. There's a couple of torches lit here and there, a couple of night patrols. You can see that there's still some activity going on as the night shift is getting into full swing, you know, setting any sort of tripwires, anything like that. And these 5 figures lead you back towards that central bell tent where you had met Gund, Grim, and Trisivener. And as he opens the flap and the 8 of you enter, the lead figure reaches behind his helmet and you hear a couple of clasps. And then as gas and air is suddenly released. And as he pulls off his helmet, you see lavender skin,
Caught it.
a bulbous, pulsing brain, thick, heavy brow, sunken eyes that glow with a malevolent yellow. The yellow of a harvest moon staring at you, and where his mouth would be 4 tentacles drooping down, 3 of which came from the tubes, and then from the central tube, 1 more. He takes in a deep breath. Oh, that's better. Well, so nice to meet all of you.
What big eyes you have. She's
And
looking up
he-
at the
He
tentacles.
leans down. And you just see his eyes staring back at you. Yes, and what large ears you have. Fascinating.
Look at myself. She kind of backs away. Was kind of tucking behind Grimnar.
Grimnar, Grimnar in a moment of like an aha moment. He's like, the squid.
Oh, the squid.
He just says that.
Oh, is he still saying that? Squid? Oh, Gund. Absolute dolt.
We were preparing to rest for the evening. Why is this such a pertinent need of yours?
Tristan had mentioned that you all were seeking some sort of, I don't know, power. Is that correct? Your
Or
purpose
comic
here?
books
Or comic books?
to bring back.
Did we?
So you can leave this place?
When we're done with our mission. Why do you want to say it like that?
Wait. Can you, young one, leave right now?
She's gonna actually be reaching toward her back, where that call to home is. That would take them out immediately. She's not going to do anything with it, but natural instinct is to, I can leave if I need to. But
I only ask because for these past 5 years, every single signal, every attempt to leave this place has been rendered moot by our Warmind.
oh,
Well, we made it.
so you can stop it then, and allow people and things to move out of here.
If the Warmind is defeated, then yes. And
Well, if you created it, do you not know how to stop it?
he smiles as only an Illithid could. which is to say there's maybe like a slight little like, vibration of like the tentacles. Like
Like a purr.
yeah.
We're not
Um,
Zoidberg.
We made it, and now it is unmaking us. I'm sure you've been told this, but the thing that Trisivin forgot, or the thing that she needs to know, is what truly gives the Warmind its hunger, its power.
Do you know this?
Do I what?
Do you know this answer?
I do. And I feel that it is important to tell you. Because if what she said is true, when you all aim to destroy the Warmind, then you should know what you're getting into, lest you all fall in battle and me and my nightingales have to remove you as potential future threats.
What does that mean? Remove us.
We cannot allow our fallen to fall into the hands of the Warmind. It needs materials and knowledge. And if you all fall and are taken back and reconfigured, well, you all know a great deal.
It would be the unmaking of the Dread Fortress.
Would. And that is why me and my nightingales, every night, wander those battlefields. And we destroy every body we can find and leave nothing. And I wouldn't want to do that to any of you.
Sorry. So if we were on the battlefield right now, you would come and destroy us?
Your brain and your body, yes.
Are you threatening us right now?
No. I'm simply stating a fact.
Or are you promising?
That's not a promise. I believe that you three are very capable. From the report that Grim made, I would bet so much that you all could easily take down a Titan or two. In fact, you all, I believe, might be the missing key, the missing piece. Infantry and artillery can only get so far. We've needed something with a bit more punch. And I believe you three are that punch.
Is there a reason this could not wait until the meeting tomorrow?
Certainly, because I will be at rest, and I have much to do in preparation for the deployment of the armament. But, since you all are here now, I wanted to share this information with you. The thing that you all seek, this power, maybe this will help you. I remember when it came to us, so many years ago, a black star falling from the sky. We were getting beaten terribly. The Warmind was juvenile, an elder brain just freshly made. And it needed more. Now some of the Kuatoa, they wouldn't stop yelling, they wouldn't stop shouting. They kept calling to a change bringer, chaos, chaos, and they surrounded this fallen star. And so our council decided that this must be of some importance. It couldn't have been any larger than a metacarpal. Looked like one too. A tiny finger bone made of perfectly black glass. Staring into it, I remember it was like it was trying to pull you in. And we figured that with this seemingly bizarre, important artifact of some kind or another, we gave it to the Warmind. And overnight it grew. And overnight, we started to win. And victory after victory. Then came defeat after defeat. Whatever that stone is that we gave to the Warmind, it is causing it to grow at an exponential rate. It's messing with everything. So even if you could leave here, little one, I'm not sure you'd know where you'd be ending up. As long as it's spewing its power, and as long as it's growing, it's disrupting everything around us. The noise, the noise. If only you could hear.
So, yet again, we learn that reckless actions have consequences.
Certainly. But we didn't know. We saw a tool and an implement. And now, we're where we are. But I believe this is what you might be seeking. So I offer you this, as one of the last of my kind. Help us to destroy this Warmind, and that stone, and our lives are yours.
Grimnar's he's gonna be looking around the room because there's 8 of us here.
Mm-hmm.
And what of your companions? Do they not have anything to say?
He looks at the 4 of them. Not unless they're spoken to. But they are tired. It's been a long day. Many brains had to be broken. Many bodies had to be burned. All under cover of darkness, mind you, lest we end up on the pyre.
It would seem that our paths still have not yet split. We seek that power not for selfish reasons, but that is why we are here. And thus, we have come to the understanding that this Warmind must fall too.
For the good of us all.
Sure.
Well, that is all. Please, retire to your barracks, and I may or may not see you come the morning. Let's sleep on this information. Keep it close.
And still no shifting in heart
Nope.
intentions? Good.
Nope. They're all just at attention. He's sort of waiting to see if the 3 of you are going to do anything or say anything. And if nobody's going to, he's going to turn about and leave.
I think
Grimnar would just be in this moment like you said, this guy is smiling, and obviously he's still got the tremor sense as well. Does he have any sort of like expression aside from that smile? Like, is there any sort of tell? Is it just I guess Grimnar's getting the kind of the vibe that like this guy's, he wants the same thing, but he has his own reason that's separate from everyone else potentially. He's kind of getting that vibe. So does he have any facial expressions that might kind of indicate what he's thinking or feeling?
I would say that I'll let you go ahead and roll another insight.
Sure.
Because right now, with how alien he is, yeah,
That's about
right now with the 7, his expression is indiscernible. There's no real tell here. His tone is off-putting because there's almost like a sort of like a rhythm and a little bit of a cadence to it, almost like a little spring. But this man is wearing a bloody smock. He's covered in mud. He's just described what his task is, and you can get the sense that there's not really so much a joy to it as this is his duty. This is sort of his area of expertise.
One,
And
oh, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
As he's kind of getting that vibe from him, he's still very like it's just giving him weird vibes. And so he's going to drop the tremor sense, actually, and he's going to kind of just feel out, feel the invisible threads or connections of chaos energy flowing through this space between him and this figure, this Illithid. And I'm going to adopt his resistances.
Oh, okay. All right.
To kind of gain an insight into if we have to come to blows with this person, or if it's true that if the elder brain is in some way, or the Warmind, sorry, if the Warmind is in some way connected to his creation, his physiology, because presumably we heard earlier that these guys also eat brains. He's going to adopt his resistances.
So you would immediately gain magic resistance.
That's great.
So you immediately feel that any sort of pre-existing magical effect, almost as if it's like the ley lines of the world have suddenly dulled on you. Whatever sort of magical currents that you might have had running through you are immediately muted and reduced. And there's a part of it that feels isolating, almost as if you're wearing a heavy coat. But in that isolation, there is that sort of warmth and knowledge of protection from the arcane. Before I depart, I would ask you all to submit willingly to a brief inquisition.
That's what this feels like already.
No, I've only asked you questions. I wish to read your thoughts. It is something that my kind are innately talented at. I promise. There will be no brain eating. Nothing like that.
What are you looking to find?
Your purpose? To see if you speak true as to why you're here. Trisavin is experienced, but she's growing desperate. And I worry that she'll take any help that she can get, regardless of its intentions or not. So I'm here to make sure that your intentions are good.
And if we refuse?
He looks at his 4 nightingales. Then we will have to ask kindly.
What is this, not kind?
Man. Oh. This is choice.
I'm going to give you all this option here. We can leave it on this cliffhanger, or we can do this roll.
I want to see where it goes.
Yeah, Nehebka isn't pressed. She wears her intentions on her sleeve because she doesn't need to hide them for anyone. Though, of course, secrecy for like certain purposes is important. I think she'll just step forward and nothing. It doesn't seem like the step has a purpose past just separating herself from Muffy and Grimnar, just to give them their own choice, of course. She'll just be looking at this lead individual. I do not know your kind. I do not know why you must do what you must do. But if you have a purpose, one that will satisfy you or your heart as still as it is, then sure. Probe within. One more step forward, but I warn you, what you might find within my mind is not easily comprehensible.
Ooh. Very well. And in this moment, he begins to utter words that almost seem as if he's trying to speak through water. It's hard to tell what he's saying, but
Blah, 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 blah.
like
Oh, he's in the 34th.
yeah, we're just, you know what, we're sticking with this Woodburn bit. Just
He's a part of the 34th.
yeah, as he wobbles, he makes a couple of hand gestures, and you all begin to trace runes that are related to the mind. And these glyphs cycle around with his two fingers. And he says to you, "This won't hurt a bit." And he puts his two fingers directly to your forehead, Nehebka, as he casts Detect Thoughts on you.
As he does that,
Yes.
I forgot my name. Muffy is gonna look up at Grimnar and be like, and we just put our like whole heads through our this one no crap, Sherlock. It's barely a tickle.
That's funny.
So, and you're not resisting Detect Thoughts, right?
Nope.
So it gets immediately surface thoughts. What is on the surface of Nehebka's mind?
Understanding purpose, understanding that they have a job within this space. There's still a focus on dealing with the Warmind and dealing with the peace or whatever, the Black Star. And that's also a level of protection over Muffy and Grimnar.
Okay. Oh, so a job it is. I've been sent. Would your sort of like Stolas and the mission be at the surface, or would that be deeper?
Way deeper.
Okay. A job, but from who? From who? And he's going to press deeper. I would like you to make a wisdom saving throw.
She's gonna fail it.
Okay. He gets deeper. He begins to understand Nehebka's emotional state. He begins to sort of understand the reasoning behind you being here. And for this mind flare, for this illithid, I would like to imagine that there are moments where there's a flash of sand, an image of the fortress, an image of Commander Kime interrupting your meditations frequently.
Well, well, so firstly, I'm gonna roll just to prove. Oh, never mind. He would feel a intensity, a willpower that could resist, if possible. To note that this is something being done willingly, but he specifically asks a job from who.
Yes.
The first thing she thinks about is the Dark Lord she originally served.
Oh.
And I think I think immediately there's just a blast of almost like if you were in a sandstorm, how would that feel if you just get punched by all the sand surrounding you? I think there's a level of he starts to see these tall pyramids. He starts to see the sarcophagi. He's this entirely imposing figure who is darkness and power itself. And I don't know how much of that might affect them, but as that starts to peel away, then it would reveal not necessarily Stolas, but more so that they come from the fortress and they have a job. I don't think they're going into who specifically gave them the mission, but
Okay.
that they were sent. But in her mind, she still serves one person only.
That's beautiful. I'm actually going to make a wisdom saving throw here as all of this is suddenly thrown at this mind flayer.
And even more so, I think it's even more important to note that there's a moment where I don't think he pierces a mind, because what mind does she have?
Right. He's literally looking into like a force.
Yes.
Oh yeah, no. This mind flayer reels back, seeing effectively what is. It's almost like how do you reason with nature? How do you understand the logic of nature? How do you understand the logic of a storm? It just is. It just embodies it. In this way, this sudden maelstrom of sand, these images of the sarcophagi, and then the imposing figure of this god king. For everybody outside of this mental probing, for Muffy, for Grimnar, for the 4 nightingales, they all see the mind flayer shudder and immediately pull back. Stares at its hands. A couple of flecks of sand seemingly fall off and go back to Nehebka.
I see. Well, that was exhilarating.
We have a purpose, as do you. We are here for one reason and one reason only. You need to know what you need to know. That is all.
Then consider my curiosity satisfied. Thank you.
And he bows to you.
So, of course, if they still want to step up and do their own thing, but yeah, just again, there's a level of, you can almost feel that's like almost like a force attempting to push Grimnar and Muffy just back away. There's just a level of, she will protect them if that is her job. She was a guardian, and she don't trust these 5.
Is this this person, are they truly satisfied with that? Or are they going to
I think
push us for?
I think there's a moment. Here's the thing. He wants to probe. Because what he's just seen in Nehebka is truly otherworldly. There's this idea of, okay, so I got a little bit closer to who these people are and why they're here, but I just saw a whole nother thing. I just saw a whole nother plane of existence. So are these 3 from the same plane? Is this something new, entirely new, that I've never dealt with before? But I think there's also a bit of hesitation because of what this mind flayer saw. I don't think it has ever dealt with a sort of magnitude on like the scale of this god king. Something that has just suddenly and without warning appeared and more or less rebuffed this mind flayer to like let him know, hey, you can dig, but I'm also here. And while you dig, I will be digging right next to you.
I'm gonna roll a wisdom saving throw to see if I pick up on the feeling of the Nehebka. Woo, okay, good. So she would take that as a, I will not let him probe.
Okay.
Willingly.
Grimnar is going to Grimnar's kind of been distrusting about this whole place and feels like has not gotten the straightest of answers from anybody, really. Like there's more to this story. And he's going to look at Nehebka specifically because they were just probed. but it's gonna be with a look of like, I want to try something, but it may be a bad idea. And he's gonna give you that kind of look.
I think it's one of those things where if you can read well, I think the eyes are saying, not right now, but if you really need to. A lot has happened already today.
Yeah.
And they are not at their best.
Mm-hmm.
They need to rest. And she believes, not that she believes, what she has done should be enough to satisfy them for now. They might come back later, but at least let us be at full capacity before we play.
Okay. He will, if that's the vibe you're picking up, he will restrain himself for now from doing what he wanted to do.
Okay. I think in this moment, the Illithid takes a step back and reattaches his helmet. You hear it lock. And he says to you all,
Oh, and I am so sorry. I apologize. I did not properly introduce myself. My name is a mouthful, but you may know me as the Physician.
The physician.
That is a long name. A mouthful, but you may call me the physician. Who would name you that?
oh, you know, it was a trend, you know.
Anyone's seen Teen Titans? Not Teen Titans. Wow. If anyone's seen Teen Wolf, it's giving much the Dread Doctors.
No.
I was about to ask the Teen Wolf show or the Teen Wolf movies.
The show.
Okay.
I haven't seen the movie too though, but the show. And you.
You know, it was a trend. My mother just wanted to have a very long, important sounding name.
Yes. Mine just called me Muffy.
My name is Anti-Disestamentarianism.
And as he turns to leave, he says,
And I hope that you've received a warm welcome from the rest of my companions. Please, rest easy. And I think I will be seeing you all in the morning. Good night.
and he walks out, immediately followed by the 4 nightingales, 2 at a time.
It's as they leave that you all see, break is the wrong word, but you see her not be able to really hold herself together. I think that took a lot. And she just rest.
Yes.
Yes,
We should rest.
I agree. I think we'd rest.
Alrighty.
As they're walking back, Muffy is humming the "Sing, Sweet Nightingale, sing, sweet."
Alright, you all return. The barracks have seemingly, when you all left, it's as if time itself stopped in these barracks. As soon as you all enter, everybody takes a collective breath. And you see that there's immense relief across everybody's faces. You see one of the Dwerar and the Drow that were part of Muffy's Cabals and Krakens game being like, whoa. You can see Calvin like walks up to all three of you and he's like, are y'all okay? That was people don't normally come back.
From the mouthful that you called the physician? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Have any of you ever seen them alone before?
No.
Huh. That's interesting.
They're always on night missions. They're always doing the they call it counting corpses.
Yes, they were very unsettling. Something about them doesn't feel right.
Well, I'm glad you all are okay. Get some rest.
We shall.
Take it easy.
Thank you for waiting up. It's very kind of all of you.
Yeah. And as you all begin to settle down for the night, you hear one of them go like, "Hey, can we get another one of those bottles real quick? Like, give me like 3 of those things. I think they're gonna need them." And as this whole sort of barracks begins to sort of console and comfort all of you in this moment, being like, "Hey, look, if you need an extra blanket, let us know." They're all sort of just gauging your vibe, but I think as everything quiets down, we'll go ahead and cut for tonight, and we'll pick up next week with the morning meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, great session, guys. Great session.
Man.
Well done.
Well,
Oh, man.
I know. Just take them. Look, we got the 34th, which was great,
We're the
Oh my
35th.
god.
and y'all are 35th, and now y'all have mind flayers, and we've seen a gigantic dark god. This is incredible. This is great.
Yeah. This is. I'm ready for tomorrow. To see what's gonna happen.
And we know that we can put our fists through Nehebka.
And yes, and
Oh my
We
God,
did
it's
learn a
valuable.
very important thing there.
You're right.
and I guess this would also count as you all are going to sleep. This will count as a long rest. So
Yes.
you all need to swap up spells or whatever you need to do. That'll be available. But for all of you at home, thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Tune in next time for another episode of Pieces of a King. Welcome and good night.